Check.
Hey, what's the matter, baby?
It's true you were alone until you met me. I was the first to dress you up and made you sexy. You'll tell your parents that we're going out. Never to the movies, just straight to my house. You said it yourself, you like it like I do. Put your arms around me and squeeze me too. I'm a freak and eat, a dog without warning. My appetite is love, cause me so on it.
We're back. Can everybody hear me? I don't know. You know, it's going to take like 15 seconds, so I'm just going to keep talking right now until I for sure know that we're good. We're probably good. But let's just get into it. Big docket. Big, lot of stuff going on. Hey, did you miss me? All right, okay, so sound does work. Yeah, you know, family friendly on a Saturday, and I'm not even on the screen. There I am. Okay, hey, now we're back now. I finally found, so this cheap little, I don't know, whatever you call it, that goes onto the headphone. I've been missing it for like a month. And I finally found it. It was underneath the chair, covered with a bunch of fuzz. So I had to blow it off and put it back in my ear. So now I might have a fuzzy, dirty ear, but at least I don't have like plastic straight on my earlobe anymore. That's probably how, whenever I have the Whitty Review show on Tuesday, I've had it where like one of them's not all the way on my ear, is because I don't want to chat my ear. So Saturday night, huh? Did you miss me? We've been doing the trust chart for the last 2 weeks, and I haven't had a Saturday show at all. So this is pretty cool. Yes, not very loud. I am very much up though. Might just have to raise your volume up a little bit. So let's just get. So I'm gonna talk about the Abu stuff. In a little bit. There's a lot to talk about because it's been like 2 weeks. This was probably one of the very first articles that I saved for the docket. This one's from May 2nd. Blake Johnson, for all of you those out there that forgot about Blake Johnson, last year he was during a committee meeting. He just started tearing up. And listen, I know some of you out there are like, you know, you got to get in touch with your inner feminine, your fem code. And I'm not about that, especially when you're in front of a lot of people. It's out there forever, and you're an elected representative. And I can't have people crying about anything. I don't care what it is, especially during a committee meeting. And not a big fan of it, but Blake Johnson is kind of a dope. State legislators should let cities lead on housing policy. Two of the Indiana's fastest growing cities, Carmel and Fishers, have begun pursuing ordinance limiting the number of single family homes that can be used as rentals. I was just talking about, yeah, Abu does that. Yeah, you know, Drew, I agree with that. I 100%. If I were a producer John on the show, I would be highlighting that right now, but I'm not. Oh, and by the way, guess what is happening on Tuesday? This is going to be a full schizo, full ADD show. We're going to be going all over the place. I will be having my debate with Brad on Tuesday. Finally, got it all worked out. Producer John, host of the Mouthwash Show, owner and operator of the Chateau des Mars Hill Network, but he will be moderating it. I didn't even know what we're talking about. All I told Brad was, we better talk about fat people. All right. And I know some of you out there got a little upset because I was talking about fat people. And I'm not talking about like people in their 50s or their 60s. I'm talking about the people in their 20s and their 30s. I go downtown often enough to find all the bums, all the parasites, all these homeless people that are hanging out in Luger Plaza. And then I see the shotties out there and they're all fat. Like all of us. Yeah. Go Team Wart. Let's go. Maybe merch. I got it ready. Drew has to verify it. But if you like it, I'm going to send it over to Vistaprint. If you like the shirts that you wore, Drew, when I was running for office, I will use the same material and I'll get some merch going. I'll just hand them out to everybody. If we go to like a Micah thing, oh man, Micah's thing is on the 27th. All right, see, I told you he's going to get an ADD show. But anyway, so me and Brad are having a debate on Tuesday. Some of it's going to be talking about fat people. No, Jimmy, no, okay. That's why I said people in their 50s or 60s and older than that, they all get a pass because guess what? We're old. People in their 20s and their 30s or even before that. You know, I didn't even make fun of fat people that are in like high school because sometimes they'll grow out of it. Like all the fat and then they just turn tall. I think we've all known people like that, but are like 250 while they're in high school. Then all of a sudden they had to like go up to like 6'8". Kind of crazy. But that's going to be on the talking, which by the way, I don't need like to do a whole lot of research on what we're going to talk about. This is what's great about me. Is that everything that I kind of believe in, I've already done research into it, and I'm stuck in my way. Not like grumpy old guy thing, but I'm definitely stuck. Like, you're not going to be changing my opinion on much of anything. I will see your point, but everything for me has a line in it. And I've already figured out that line. Someone message Brad and tell him to get on the chat because we got to talk about fatties too. So for those who forgot, over in Hamilton County and Carmel and Fishers, they're going to be having rental caps on like how many single family homes can be actual rentals. Now, everybody in the chat, I want your opinion on this. Is this a good or a bad thing? Like for real, because in my opinion, it's not a bad thing, because this is the same problems that I have with short-term rentals. I hate them. I absolutely hate short-term rentals. You're taking houses out of the market. You're automatically inflating the rest of the market. You're taking the supply away from the market, and you're making everything more expensive. Why? So some dipshits from Chicago can come into a Colts game because they're playing the Bears. I don't care. Or even if it's to do with basketball, I don't care. Like go to a rental, go to a hotel. We're building more hotels in downtown than ever before, all by the taxpayer's dime, or at least by the risk of the taxpayer. Yeah. No 15-minute cities. That is 100% right. And this is what the whole WEF thing. You will own nothing and you will love it. Well, tell you what, pal. Tell you what, Schwab. I like when I own things because it's mine. I don't want some dipshit coming through here and saying, you know what? I want that. Do you remember when, what was it? The thing in Seattle where they took over Chaz. You remember Chaz back in 2020? Oh man, those were some crazy times. And then I remember seeing, I think it was in Reddit or on Twitter, some lady got her laptop stolen out of her tent. And when she went and like started looking for it and talked to people that were kind of in charge of Chaz, they were telling her, he's like, well, you know what? They just needed it more than you. And I was like, what are you talking about? I paid for that with my own money. And you're telling me that, oh, you know what? Well, someone just needed it more than you, and you should let them have it. You know what I say to that? I know, Tyler Mitchell, this is not family-friendly time, all right? This isn't even 100% of me. This is 80% of me. Very rarely will someone talk to me, and I am 100% with them the own time. You guys know who you are. Yeah, no one cares about rentals till they are next to them. Yeah, that's nailed it. Yeah, which I don't... Dude, I have rentals on each side of me. I have the Indians on one side, and I have trashy people onto the other side. I have Mexicans across the street from me, like 3 or 4 houses right there. Right now, if you go into my street, you will see that they are having their summer-long garage sale where everything that they fell off the truck is out there right now. They do it all the time. No children allowed. Yeah, no children allowed. Not on Saturday's show. We don't want any of that. But here's the deal. This is just like renting a car. We are going to beat the crap out of it. This is what I do every time. I say, give me the insurance because I'm going to be having possibly a soup kitchen in there. Do you guys know what a soup kitchen is? Just imagine every fluid coming outside of you, or inside of you, depending who you are. Not me, though. All over the car. But as long as you got the insurance, who cares? And this is like having that house next to you where every fluid, everything is coming out of you onto the steps, and all that crap is eventually going to be coming onto your side of the fence. Now, I normally don't have a problem with all that stuff, but the older that I get, the more I realize how much I don't like people, especially renters that are living in a single home next to me. I would rather have someone living next to me that has skin in the game. That's what I want. Woody Street looks like a UN meeting. It's so true. It's, yeah, there's potholes everywhere. They're cooking up copper wires down the street from me. Literally 2 doors down, all their chickens and all their dogs are missing because they cooked them. At least that's what I think. I'm pretty sure on that. All the chickens definitely got cooked. The dogs most likely. Those that are in the chat know what I'm talking about. Yeah, my street probably looks more like the Middle East right now, which we might talk about. What Blake Johnson doesn't understand is that Democrats are jerk-offs that do not know how to run an area. Now, some of them, rich Democrats, rich liberals, like that are in Fletcher Place or Broad Ripple. I was in Broad Ripple the other day because if you guys follow Indie Reporter, and if you're not following Indie Reporter, what are you even doing? So that picture from the 52nd Street and Le Mans, I was the one that took that picture. I went through Broad Ripple before that Tea Party meeting. Dude, yeah, I know. You know, I want to, don't, I want to move to Johnson County. That's kind of the goal right now. But Hendricks County is right next door. And I got it. It's already kind of taken care of. I just can't go there yet. My hands are tied at the moment. I have a year left. All right. I would have preferred Johnson County, but Hendricks County will do at the moment. So I went through Broad Ripple and I was like, oh, okay, now I understand why all these Democrats want these illegals around. Is so they can mow their lawn. I swear to you. Go to a Saturday or a Sunday morning, you'll see a bunch of Mexicans mowing the lawns of all those $500,000 to $1 million homes off of College. It's unbelievable. So I am not a fan. I want to see what happens with the Carmel and Fishers thing. And you know, some of you are going to be out there. It's like, well, you know, not all renters are like that. Yeah, but the majority are. And you want to know what, too? Don't forget that renters normally vote Democrat because they don't have any real skin in the game. These are all the same people that were like, pay for my college. I want everything for free. Healthcare is a human right. All these clowns that just want everything given to them. And I can't stand it. I can't take it. Some of us want to work hard and earn it. Anyway, like Johnson's a dope. Here, the question at hand is not about rental cabs, about whether we believe in home rule. It's about respecting local democracy. Well, good thing we don't live in a democracy, Blake. Even when it yields decisions we wouldn't have made ourselves. So basically, if all of us decided that we're going to make abortion illegal, Blake Johnson would be okay with that, right? I don't know. I would like to know it. All right, so everybody in the chat, some of you may or may not know, but these are the... Oh, sorry. I'm still sobering up. The Indiana Federation of Young Republicans, which I did not know it's for 40 and below. I just found that out. And the only reason I wondered what was the rule was Allie Bartlett. Allie Bartlett looks older than me, and I'm 41. She has aged like milk. It's the worst, but she's the 7th District Chair. Sarah Milligan, she's the Vice Chair of the Indiana Federation of Young Republicans. Cannot trust anybody on here right now. Not a single one. Kyle Pierce really should have been moved on into the Devils, probably like 5A in the trust chart. The only reason why we haven't moved them down there is because he actually replies to emails. Kind of wild. And text messages. Who knew? But the reason why I'm bringing this up is these are the people, if you see their name, just remember that they cannot be trusted. You know, it'd be really interesting to ask Chloe Pierce about Rob, though. You know who I'm talking about. Not Rob Kendall. I went deep diving on some of the people that are in helping out Braun and Diego and Micah. And I went through my case to see, like, I wonder if they've gotten in any trouble as of late. Just saying. I know. All right. I found a few people on there that have gotten in trouble that nobody's talking about, and I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to bring it up because I'm a sweet and cute little guy. If you want to know, just message me. All right. Speaking of crazy women, though. So this morning on X, saw people sharing an old video about a woman in Arizona who caught a camera repeatedly putting bleach in her husband's coffee and charged with 1D attempted murder. However, no one seemed aware that the DA's office gave her a no prison free pass plea deal. She confessed that she'd been slowly poisoning him for weeks because she wanted to get his U.S. Army life insurance money. She was sentenced to 4 months of time served and 3 years probation. That's crazy. You get 3 years probation, even though you were caught on film trying to kill your husband so you can collect the insurance money. Boys and girls, don't get married. I mean, some people have a look that you should just not get married to, and this is one of them. And I have said this many times, the glasses are really where it's at. If you got the lib glasses on, or even the clear frames, stay away from those people, okay? They cannot be trusted. I said the same thing about Rand Paul not long ago, about how he changed his glasses to like the clear frames, and it automatically set up a red flag. Just be sure that you have cameras everywhere. If you're not feeling well, this coming from, I know what it's like to get poisoned. Be sure if you're not feeling well, watch out. Speaking of people that should be executed, though, babysitter 24 killed a 1-year-old boy with wrestling moves after becoming angry over a torn pillow, but told cops, "I didn't hurt his head. I only caused the internal injuries." Yeah, in El Paso, Texas, the child passed away April 16th, 3 days later. He was arrested on the 19th and sentenced to life in prison. There is no reason to have life in prison for these animals. They should just be executed. I mentioned this during the Weed Show a few weeks ago. There are certain people that should just be taken out to Monument Circle and hung. And this guy is one of them. This woman is one of them. There is no rehab for these certain amount of animals. All right, so I talked about in the show, I need a better level of enemies because all my enemies are retarded, and it's kind of annoying that I even have to deal with these people. Hypocrites, morons, people that just give you the standard talking points, and this is one of them. I think his name is Mike. He used to play football. Obviously, he has CTE, and he talks about voting for Jesse. He's married but has no children. Hopefully, he ends his bloodline. And all he has is like he has 5 golden retrievers. Why do I bring this guy up? Because he's a dope. And there are certain people that just need to be called out in public and be brought up. So not long ago, I made a joke about Pete Buttplug. Pete Buttplug doing I don't know, he was at some speaker event. And I said, you know what? I prefer my elected officials not swallow cum. I prefer my elected officials to not have their asshole blown up. And he was just like, "Oh, what do you have a problem with? Why are you talking about assholes?" I was like, "Because I don't want them as elected officials, especially those that, especially those that take maternity leave and have off of a baby that you bought. That doesn't make any sense. All right." It was this one right here. I prefer elected leaders not to have their asshole blown out. And this is the same guy that voted for Jesse as well. And I'm not your brother either. Nationally, we're pretty good. Okay, so right here, breaking people want to move to areas that have good schools. Superintendents in India are making $300,000 a year while iLearn proficiency is in the dumps. And here we go. Nationally, and nationally, we're doing pretty good. Okay, so I'm talking about IPS right here. And this is what I mean when I say I need a better level of an enemy. Someone that can actually, hey, we're talking about Indiana here. We're talking about Indianapolis. We're talking about superintendents that make $300,000 a year while our iLearn proficiency rates are in the dumps. And here's another one right here. This one might be the worst one of them all. This guy named Mitch Duncan. This guy, he has no job either. He has no job, and he's a documenter for that garbage media company, Mirror Indie. Yeah, low sperm count. Yeah. Yeah, it's because all his sperm are retarded, and they're, like, banging into each other. We were kind of making fun of this last week. Those in the chat, you know who I'm talking about. So car detailer, that's fine. Package handler, that's fine. Surveying technician, that's fine. I'm not going to make fun of you for all this stuff. What I will be making fun of you about it, though, is you thinking that you know more than me, but you don't have a job. And the best part is he thinks that he's smart, but he's not, and he has no interactions with people. His impression rate is 0. Nobody's liking his stuff, which means you're just an unlikable guy. Hey, Mitch, nobody likes you, okay? You can't even come up with a good comeback. Maybe the that's in your back, maybe that's it, but I don't know. Mitch was very tanning last Sunday. Where was he on last Sunday? Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean in Twitter? Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were. That's right, D2 Indy, RN Franco. Yeah. Yeah, we were having a field day with Mitch on Twitter last Sunday. So, as you all know, I have my finger on the pulse of the Black community in Indianapolis. And, we have not had a Saturday show in 2 weeks. I know, and I've been missing out. I've been fiending like a homeless drug addict. But this one really caught my eye. Indianapolis police partner with Boys and Girls Club to create a juvenile diversion program that replaces jail time with community service, which is dumb, honestly. I don't want that. I want people to have the scared straight, where they're afraid that they're going to get raped. That's what I want. That is the only way that you're going to get these juveniles, these 17-year-olds. Yeah, settle down, Ginger. I didn't say that, by the way. You need to have the fear of God into these fatherless juveniles, because we know that's what it is. They don't have a father in the picture. Their mom is probably a hoe who's probably taking as many shots in the back as they are on drive-bys. But by the way, this is not even a new thing. A couple of years ago, Ryan Mears, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit, he had this Boys and Girls Club program. Instead of non-violent juvenile offender ending up in the criminal justice system, they will get a 1-year membership to the Boys and Girls Club. Hey, so you know what? These non-violent offenders, they're just going to get a gym membership. And if you guys remember when I was previous accounts, I was bringing this up a lot. I think that's when I was part of the Not Ryan Mears account. Me and a couple of the boys were on that account. Spreading the word about these non-violent juvenile offenders getting a 1-year taxpayer-funded gym membership. Oh, and by the way, who's the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Indianapolis? Maggie Lewis. Who is Maggie Lewis? Well, she's the former president of the Indianapolis City Council from 2012 to 2017. And she's still on there right now, which tells me that this whole thing was a scam. What I would like to know is, were those gym memberships, were they free or were they taxpayer funded? If they were just given away, I might, turn the other cheek. But if they were taxpayer funded, which is what I think they were, we got a problem, boys and girls. I can't stand it. But, the Black Indie Live, oh my God, I absolutely love this Twitter page. Not as much as the other one, which we'll talk about here in a second, but this is obviously where the Black community goes when they need to vent their problems. Growing cause to shut down the Indie Black, the Riverside Sunday on MLK. So Riverside Park is getting like a $38 million renovation. I think $13 million of it is already done. And there was a shooting on it last Sunday, I think. Yeah, 5 days ago. So yeah, I think it was last Sunday. And I think 2 people shot. This is what happens, okay? I can't wait for this whole thing to be clipped and then me get called racist down the road. And guess what? I don't care. Like Lana Del Rey once said, nothing scares me anymore. So this is what happens though. You won't see a bunch of white people going to a Taylor Swift concert and there being a shooting. You won't see it in Fishers. You won't see it in Carmel. But for some reason, when there's a black community get together, there's always going to be a problem. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if it's a low temperament thing. I don't know if it's a I need to puffer my chest kind of thing. But thank God Bow Wow is coming to Indianapolis for a downtown after party takeover at the Moon Lodge this weekend. This was 5 days ago. So I think it's happening. Should I go? Is that happening today? When is that? Hip hop icon is headed to Circle City this Saturday. The one night. When was that? When did this happen? 5 days ago. Saturday, May. Oh, that's today. Hey, should I go? It's at 10 p.m. Should I report live at the downtown after party at the Moon Lodge? Oh, that wouldn't be too bad. I'll do it right after I talk about the black community on here. I'll go right over there and be like, "Sup? Hold on. If I'm gonna get in trouble, I want to make sure that I really get it. Hold on, let me put my hat sideways and say, what up, boys and girls? I'm here for the Bow Wow takeover at the Moon Lodge. How do I look? Should I go like Vince McMahon and bring in my do-rag too? Should I do the rest of the show like this? I can't. Listen, I'm only 20% Hispanic. I can't get away. I might be black from the waist down, but I can't from the upper half, not so much. Oh, Mike Epps. We're going to talk about this too, this whole Mike Epps thing, because obviously next year is the prosecutor's race. No, I want to go. Yeah, that's tonight, Drew. Hey, you want to go? You know, a couple of fine gentlemen like ourselves hitting up the club. Our boy Bow Wow's over there. You know, he's like my age now. That's crazy. Tell him how much I loved him in Too Fast, Too Furious. No, I'm sorry, Fast and Furious 3. Told him I really loved him in the Tokyo Drift. So Mike Epps, the Indianapolis native, who's also doing rentals, I think, over not far from me. But he was having a round table with high school students on the youth gun violence epidemic. Now, I don't know about you. I know, dude, that, you know, okay, it starts at 10. Depending how far I go. I mean, I usually these are like 2 or 3 hour shows, depending, and I haven't even been drinking either. Well, I was drinking, but I'm not anymore. I'm sobering up, so maybe I can go. Probably not a good idea though. Maybe if one of those Mexicans took that Lime scooter, I would just take it downtown. I'm not going to. I'm going to go a minimum of 2 shootings tonight in downtown, no matter what, because it's a really nice day out. And if we know anything about the black community, they are really good at fucking things up. Clip that. All right. Clip that. I can't wait. Racist Whitty. Sorry, but math equals 2 + 2, and it's 4. All right, so I'm really curious on how this thing. People in the comments, I don't need to watch the debate Tuesday. What debate? What could go wrong? What debate on Tuesday? There's a debate on Tuesday? What's happening on Tuesday? How come it's not in my calendar for Tuesday? What's happening on Tuesday? I would like to know. What could go wrong? You know, though, I am going to be going undercover, though. I'm going to have the Mica glasses out there, and I'm going to be riding the bus over for Indigo, especially like Garfield Park. I was over there today, saw some guys smoking crack right in the, where you wait for the bus. What are they called? Why am I drawing a blank? You and Brad. Oh, yeah, yeah, you and Brad. Yeah, we need to watch the debate on Tuesday. Yeah, that's at 8 o'clock, though. I'm really curious of how this thing, basically you're going to have your own Cabrini Green. Indianapolis is going to have their own Section 8 Cabrini Green, bunch of drugs, bunch of prostitution. Nothing good will come of this. I guarantee it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I might not come back for sure. Dude, it's sketchy over there. I'm not going to lie. It is. If you go over to Luger Plaza, I kind of want to do like a live, just walk around on like a Friday or Saturday night with like glasses, though. I don't want to have the camera on there and make it too obvious. I'd rather have like live feed glasses of going to like Luger Plaza. It's actually, you know what? Since I already warned you guys, since I was going to be going schizo and shit, I'm going to show you something. You're not going to be allowed to see my search history. That's a no-go. Yeah, I am scared. Is the city council? Trust me on this whole thing, okay? Okay, here we go. Boop, boom. Okay, so Luger Plaza. Right, so right now over here in Luger Plaza, there's a bunch of bums over here. A lot of them. They've overtaken it. It's Bum Alley. But here's that's the funniest part. Market Street, you know how they're redoing all of it? This is where they're going to be hanging out at. I'm calling it right now. This is going to be, and this is where they usually hang out anyway, especially over here. But I think because there's so much construction happening in Monument Circle, they've all flocked to Luger Plaza and they're just hanging out. It's not a very, don't forget, like right across the street. Why am I, okay. So right across the street over here is where the overdose happened, where people are smoking their fake weed laced with bug spray. Yeah, bugs. Yeah. The bus stop is really where it's going to get interesting because they're increasing the rate for like it's $1.75 per stop. And I saw Andrew Ireland, he posted it today. I mean, the interview was pretty delightful. Yeah, everything that I expect. But anybody want to go to the Lemon Drop Festival that's happening July? And yeah, last Saturday of July. Anybody want to go with me? Must be 21 to enter. 21 plus to enter. They offer 10 unique flavors included with your ticket. Think strawberry, what? Peach, what? Blueberry, what? Apple, what? And more, what? But they never brought up lemon. So what the fuck? Anyway. And I think that's about it. Okay, so now we have to do Indie on the Map. This is probably like the funniest profile right here. Indianapolis artist Katie G just dropped Tap In, and I can't wait to read the comments. Oh, that's it? It's just fire? Oh. I thought there was another one. Oh, yeah. Yeah, all right, cool. I'm leaving the volume off because last time I put the volume on, I know, thank God for the family-friendly show, huh? I can't wait for somebody to be clipping this right now. I have like someone shaking their ass right in front of my face, and they're like, I can't believe Whitty's having this show right now. I'm now gonna play the music because last time I did that, yeah, hey, I'll bring the short bus with. We could have ourselves a field trip. What is this? What is going on? Oh, what is going on here right now? This is not cool. Yeah, what bro? But Indie on the Map is one of my favorite Instagram pages because it's just so dirty. Sometimes I feel like I need to wash my eyes or take a shower. Oh, yeah, we saw that. Aren't there reels? There are reels like this. I don't get it. I don't get it. Is this what turns you guys on? Is this what like the song to yeah, gross. It is kind of it is very gross. There could never be another Paris right here. I mean, whenever I need to, I feel like I'm feeling optimistic about life or anything about Indianapolis, I just go to Indie on the Map and I automatically lose all my optimism. I'm like, all right. This is having the finger on the pulse of the Black community right here. This is what I need to know what's going on. Aren't you so glad that you're spending Saturday night with me? Oh, it's so good. No, we already talked about that. All right, so I'm gonna piss all of you off right now. You ready? You ready for like everybody that's watching right now to get pissed off? All right. IVF is God's way of saying that you shouldn't have children. That's just my opinion, okay? I have not watched this because I'm not going to listen to 2 hours about their struggle with parenthood and marriage and everything that we did to do to have a daughter. And this is what happens when the woman takes too much birth control and puts too much poison in their body to the point where they can't have children anymore. This is what happens when you're such a hoe, and because you are taking in so much wad from randos from the bar or football players at that, that you have to take birth control. And I'm not saying like the people that take birth control to, you know, time your lady time or whatever or stuff like that. I'm not giving crap about that. I'm giving crap to the women out there that are taking birth control because they don't want to get knocked up, but they just want randos to nut inside of them. Those are the hoes that I am talking to. And you guys can get mad at me all you want. You are free to leave if you don't like that opinion, but I think IVF is totally unnatural. It is what it is. Or, you know, your boys are just like knocking each other in the head. I don't know, eat more broccoli. Have some more asparagus. I don't know. You know, for the people that that have troubles having children and you didn't do anything to poison yourself, I have empathy for you. Everybody else, I don't. So I was gonna talk about this. I don't even know if I feel like it, but this was happened at the end of April. But then we had our trust chart. Yeah, food is medicine. Stop drinking, stop eating, taking poison. It's pretty, I would say it's pretty easy actually, but for some people I get it. And you know, and, for other people, it's just God saying that you're not allowed to reproduce. Hate to break it to you. Life sucks. I was gonna talk about this. Oh yeah, okay, Bohet chick. That's what I brought this up for. So hold on real quick. We really debated on bringing this up on Indie Reporter because we're not Abu, okay? We're not I wouldn't say shit starters, but we're definitely not gossip queens. And I saw somebody had messaged us about something to go on with Bohetchik. Bohet. Probably spelled. Hold his name. And who? So apparently, crap. Hold on 1 second. I got to go into the account, and I don't want you guys to see any of the messages. Crap. Why can't I find it? Well, he apparently like last year he was arrested for DUI. Oh, okay, here it is. Fine. Bam. All right. So, update: anonymous sources confirmed that Mike Bohetchik was stopped for suspected drunk driving after a citizen reported him highly intoxicated at a Panda Express. Hey, listen. Sometimes when you're in the mood and you've had a little bit too much whiskey, a little orange chicken, a little teriyaki chicken really does hit the spot. Maybe a little egg rolls. I don't know. So he refused the breathalyzer. He was taken to a local hospital where a blood test showed blood alcohol content of 0.28. What is the legal limit nowadays? Is it 0.8? Yeah. When are we going to? We're going to talk about Abu in a little bit. What is the legal limit? Is it 0.8? Asking for a friend. But so apparently the Indiana law provides legislators with certain immunities from civil arrest during periods related to legislative sessions. According to Indiana code, members of the General Assembly are immune from arrest in all cases except treason, felony, and breach of the peace during the session of the General Assembly. So this happened at January 28th. This was on Make LaPorte Great Again. We follow a lot of stuff that's going on in LaPorte, especially with the data centers over there. Yeah, buy a kid. Yeah, if be a foster parent, go buy a kid. That's what Josh Lowry did. He bought a black kid. All right, so I'm curious if any of you guys know about that or not. If you know about Bohetchik getting pulled over for your DUI, because I think Jimmy Lucas wants some company. You want to talk about Abu? We'll talk about Abu. Let's talk about Abu. But first, let's talk about Shreve, because this will lead into Abu. All right, so Shreve. So if you follow Trade with Pelosi, where's the Shreve thing? This is funny. Bonnie and Clyde of Congress. All of April, Reps McCall and Shreve heavily invested in oil stocks. On April 1st, a bill boosting energy independence via offshore drilling was introduced to Foreign Affairs Committee. Guess who sits on the Foreign Affairs Committee? We all know the answer. Both of them. Very interesting, though. But if you guys have been following along with the whole Shreve drama, which is funny that Democrats are now on the bandwagon, even though we've been talking about Pelosi forever, they're upset with Shreve doing some trading, but they're not upset with Pelosi. Okay, point 8, thank you. Yeah, I guess some people are above the law, huh? Interesting. So on April 11th, he purchased $50,000 worth of a railroad company. Weeks before his purchase, the All Aboard Act was referred to the Subcommittee on Railroads, Pipelines, and Hazardous Materials. The bill aims to invest $300 million over the next 5 years to establish freight and passenger rail training centers. Guess who sits on the subcommittee? Oh, you already know, Jefferson Shreve. And so what's funny about this whole thing, if you go on the Twitter and you type in Jefferson Shreve stock and you click on latest, you got McNally, that little shit. You have us on Indie Reporter reporting on it. But this is our favorite, is Rob Kendall bringing this up. We all know that I'm neutral on Rob Kendall. I talked about it on Tuesday. So Rob Kendall... this was a big W from him. Jefferson Shreve is a shameless scumbag, and if he'd like to discuss it further, he knows exactly where to find me. This stock buy and sell stuff is gross and should totally be illegal. Now, somebody had brought this up on Indie Reporter too about, oh, well, you know, he was a really good investor, and he was doing this even before he became a congressman. Well, I'll tell you what, how much money did he lose during the mayor's race? Like, I think he spent like $14 million, maybe $11 or $14 million. And it was mostly his money, especially after his gun plan came up. All the other people that were helping him out just bailed out because we knew that he was a skinwalker. He'll do whatever everybody else tells him to do. I don't think he has an independent thought at all. This is my theory, by the way. Me and, I'll just say it, me and Drew have talked about this a few times about who's running the Indianapolis GOP. It's not Shreve. I don't think it's Shreve. I think it's the people that are helping Shreve. The Cam Savages, the Bullhorn Communications, the Limestone Strategies. I mean, Natalie Goodwin has her handler from Limestone Strategies right now going with her to all these meetings. Why? Because she doesn't have an independent thought. She has no plan. She's just repeating whatever her handler says. Otherwise, why would you need her to be around? Safety. All the people that you are meeting right now are safe. I won't tell you who they are. It's not me, that's for sure. But I'm safe. I'm just a cute and sweet little guy. But you know who's not talking about it? Our old pal Abu. If we go on to... what the crap? I thought I had it on here. Yeah, well, put it on here. Hold on one second. I want you guys seeing. All right, so if you go on here, you will not see anything to do. Actually, why don't we just do? Can't do it. Oh, can we? Yeah, we can do it on the search bar. Do Shreve top. Bam. We'll go for the latest. Last time he even talked about Shreve was when he was running for mayor. That was the last time that he even talked about Shreve. In focus, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to listen to this tonight. If you want, guys, it's at the very end of the show. Same thing with here. Got it. And this is like basically like what Abdul is all about. You got any good or bad Indiana political gossip worth sharing? Because he's a gossip queen. I talked about this months ago. This is how he's getting invited for all this stuff. He's getting everything that's fake Same thing with Diego thing. I don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. When he has his polls, I don't believe any of it. When he talks about Diego, I don't believe any of it. This guy is just striking zero all the time. And I'm sure WIBC is fed up with him just talking about Gabe all the time. Like, what else are you going to talk about? Are you just going to, and don't forget, he's also establishment. And he's proud to be establishment. I'll talk about that. I'm gonna be listening. I will be listening tomorrow, okay? And all of you, I can't wait for somebody like Rob or whatever to be like, I can't believe he's promoting this. I'm not promoting this. Megan Stoner is obviously a felon and a crook. And that's why I want to see if she's gonna go onto the Hoosier Inquirer. I want to see what kind of bullshit that she's gonna spew. This is not about promoting or helping Gabe. I want to know what she's going to say, because she does not like me either. I can't wait what bullshit she's going to talk about. My only criticism is that it starts really late on a Sunday, 10 p.m. Eastern on a Sunday. It should be like 8 or 9, really, but I'll listen. All right, so here's Abdul. He's finally gone full libtard, everybody. And he even says it. The older I get, the more liberal I get. More liberal. Liberal. And I've said it for a long time. I even told Ethan Hatcher this before, that he is not, Abdul is not a Republican. He might be like a neocon Republican, but he's more libertarian. And now he's just gone off the rails because he's insecure and he wants all of these political gossip, all the tips. Instead of the slow tip, like Drew said. Total pass, by the way. Total pass, Drew. What are we even talking about? It should be more like, how much booze do you have to drink? I mean, the whole bar, maybe. Passed out. She's going to have to roofie me, basically. All right, so I have become more free market, more free trade, and even free people. So basically, he just wants more child porn out there. He wants more slave labor. He doesn't care who has to do it. And this is because of the whole tariff thing. And as I look out into the political universe, I see a lot of people who think that way. Who? Democrats? It's not conservatives. Maybe neocon Republicans like Brad Chambers. Maybe even just like Braun, too. When I say I'm more free, that means I am anti-tariff. Tariffs are fundamentally tax increases, plain and simple. And this is because Abu, not long ago, he was bitching about how about the paper for the comic books, because he's a collector of comic books. And I don't know, I don't really have a problem with people that collect comic books. I think it's a little bit childish, unless you're doing it for down the road where you're going to be collecting them, like kind of like dolls or action figures, that kind of stuff. But overall, that's what he's complaining about. He wants his crap Timo, Amazon, Chinese made bullshit delivered to his home. That's why he probably doesn't have a problem with all these illegals coming there, because his fat ass wants all these Uber Eats. He wants his Amazon deliveries. He doesn't give a shit about the city. He's a selfish fat slob that had a heart attack because he has heart problems, but yet he will continue to drink and smoke. The guy is such a piece of shit. I couldn't really care anything less about him. I think he's basically like the poop that comes out of me. Every time that I need to run to the bathroom, I go, oh, I got to go take a quick Abu real quick. And sometimes I won't even wipe because that would be cleaning him too. But I have to clean the Abu off of my butthole. And I don't have a bidet yet. I did have a bidet, but I don't anymore. So guess what? When the Trump guys raised the tariffs, companies just passed those costs to the consumer. So as usual, Abu was saying, I don't think Abu has Ozempic face. He used to be a bigger, fatter slob before, but I think he had a heart attack, and that's what I'm sure his wife, that he has no children with, probably told him, listen, I have to drive you everywhere because you're a fat, degenerate slob. And I need to feel like I have some security around here. So, and I'm also waiting for your insurance plan to top off. So when you do die, I get all your money. So I can go on vacation by myself and have a better time. That's probably what happens. But who could say? So let's see. Which throws a giant monkey wrench into the economy and contributes to $2.4 billion projected revenue shortfall. Oh, you mean, you know what? I actually do, this is the standard GDP bro bullshit. The Mike Hicks brain that I cannot stand. I don't care if a bunch of illegals come here and they bring in their culture, which is third worldism. As long as I get my tasty tacos, I don't care if girls get raped and killed. That is the Mike Hicks brain. That is the Abdul brain. Some of these people are just the worst scumbags in the world. I'm also a lot more free people, which he's okay with random people just running around with their cock out and then jerking off on his leg, most likely. He's more free people than he used to be. Well, that's because Abdul is a fat ass degenerate. I will always be more of an individualist in my approach to things. And I meant the information that I received to consume with a big giant edible filled with skepticism. And I was happy to present in a manner folks would find informative and entertaining. Blazing Saddles-esque snark. No, he's just a piece of shit that wants cheap or free stuff so he can go smoke more weed, so he can go drink, so he can become more of a degenerate. This was the same fat slob that said, hey, why don't we have a debate? Or hey, we can have a conversation. I said, all right, but I want it in person. And he's like, oh, you know, I thought you just wanted this to have some internet clout. No, it's not for content. It's because I legitimately do not like you. And I'm going to call you a fat piece of shit to your face. And you're not going to do anything about it, clown, because you are degenerate. You're fucking soft and you're a piece of shit. You are what comes out of my body, out of my butthole. So I know everybody's loving this this rant right now. I can't wait for this to come back to Robin Abu. I can't wait for Abu to block me again on Facebook or Twitter because he's a little bitch. I don't fucking care about this guy. I legitimately do not like this guy. If when he dies, I will be the first one to take a dump on his grave. Okay, because that's how there's like a small list of people that I genuinely do not like. Genuinely, that's the Chicago in me. Some of them you already know, and I'm sure it's like, well, you know, that's illegal. Well, guess what? We're in Indianapolis. They don't arrest anybody around here, especially when Abu is trying to make friends with Ryan Mears so he can get more of a scoop when he runs for mayor and will probably win and turns Indianapolis into more of Detroit or Chicago. But people like Abu, low IQ, smooth brain fucking morons want Indianapolis to turn into Chicago as long as he gets his weed, as long as he can watch whatever, you know, I can't say it because then I'm going to get a lawsuit or some shit. Whatever he wants to watch in the dark with his pants off, which we kind of already know what it is, I'm sure. So he can watch his, so he can read his degenerate comic books. There are just certain people that I despise, and Abu is one of them. So these are the people who file primary. Okay, so now I'm even more of that. I feel the best way to do this is get more engaged to combat the crazy. So people like me, the cabal of crazy. Well, guess what, Abu? You're just a fat slob. You know who they are. Those are they are the people who fill the airwaves and social media with utter nonsense, and then they have the audacity to get upset with the political reasonable crowd. You are not political reasonable, all right? I will totally destroy you in a fucking debate to your face. So, hold on. So these are the people who file primary challenges against the establishment, elected officials because they don't believe they are conservative enough. You ran as a Republican, but you are degenerate. Of course, for some of these people, the folks who ran Berlin in 1938 probably weren't conservative enough. And this is what these smooth-brained retards that, like Abu, always go to. Oh, but my Hitler, but my Hitler. This is the automatic thing that fucking retards like Abudo, Democrats do the same thing, liberals do the same shit. They always go back to Hitler. And when they get their clocks cleaned, they blame everyone except for the person in the mirror. Really, dipshit? Because the only reason that John lost was because there were 300 appointed PCs that were there to vote for Natalie Goodwin. If the only elected PCs were there to elect or to vote, John would have won, which is why he won the caucus to run for Congress. Decidedly, too, by the way, like spanked everybody. And everybody in this chat knows that because most of you were there. If elected PCs were only allowed to vote, John would be the county chair right now, and people wouldn't have to be waiting a month or more to have a meeting with Natalie Goodwin. And we wouldn't have that retarded dinosaur, Cam Savage, giving you a bunch of money so you can lick her asshole, so you can try and tongue punch her fartbacks because you're just trying to get more clicks. It's true. I'm sure. I'm sure he's just gonna go up there like a cute and sweet little dog and just rub his nose up her asshole so he can get Cam Savage to give him money for his gossip column, The Cheat Sheet. Huh? Oh, well, it's not family friendly. It's Saturday. There's nothing family friendly. I'm only going 80% too. I never go full hundo. That would be rude of me. But when you think of getting older, oh, by the way, the reason why these people are getting primaried or trying to get primaried is because they lie to us. People like Braun are going to try and get primaried because you ran on this thing and then you totally fucked us over. You know, I like to be sympathetic to Micah because he's not telling the whole story because he knows that he would be in so much more trouble than he already is. He's playing that game, which, you know, I'm not a big fan of. And don't get me wrong, I like Micah overall. I think it was cool of him to join the chat a while back. And, you know, overall, I like Micah. I think most of you, I know Gabe doesn't. Overall, I like Micah. He's a good guy to stir shit up too, which I'm always a big fan of. And he put his neck out there for John. So, but when you do think about getting older, there's one thing I definitely noticed, particularly when it comes to dealing with the cabal of crazy. He's talking about people like me, people like Drew, people like Hoss. If you stick around long enough, you'll see everything 2 or 3 times. Having seen this movie before, you know how it ends. You know how to adjust and deal with it accordingly. Now, I will admit there are times when you see a new twist on an old story. And listen, Abu, I know what is going on right now. All right, and you are going to lose. I already know what's going on right now. Everybody knows what's happening, and I'm not going to bring it up, but you are going to lose. And by the way, Gabe won because all you do is talk about him. So as I sit back, relax, and enjoy a cocktail and a cigar, being a degenerate and being basically him being the end of his bloodline because he has no children. He will be the last one of all. This was the same guy, by the way, that said, "Oh, you don't want to have to be forced to get the shot, then quit your job." Well, that's not what we signed up for. And I'm sure he's had a bunch of jabs too. This is the same guy that will lick the asshole of the establishment because he is an insecure, fat, degenerate slob, and he just wants friends. He wants to feel better about himself because he's such a fucking loser. This was the same guy that's like, "Hey, man, don't make me get Southside," while he's doing lawsuits. Nobody from Chicago would ever do a lawsuit. If you were to try that shit on the Southside, you get smacked right in the fucking mouth, Abu. But because you came to Indiana where you're safe, you're not gonna get smacked in the fucking mouth. If this is where I think Rob had something not long ago where like there should be an MMA match or a boxing match, and I was listening to it and I said I want to fight Abu. I want to hint I'm gonna knock him the fuck out if we were ever in a match, and I would take his shoes and I'd probably pee on him too. I'd give him a sweet, witty, golden shower all over that stupid fucking face of his. I'd be the last match though, because I don't want people stepping around in pee. I would be the main event. Yeah. So if only everyone else aged as gracefully as I do, to quote Sam Cooke, what a wonderful life it would be. You mean just following whatever the government tells you? Is that what you want everybody to be? You just want to be a part of, and by the way, if you want to do if you want to do that whole Hitler bullshit, guess what? You would have been on their side because you are the part of the establishment. You would have been like, government says that, I will do this because they're the good guys. You would have been on there. You were the type of people that said, hey, we need to give everybody a vaccination card and we need to have a vaccine registry. And if you're not part of it, then you need to go in your own hole. That's who Abu is. And he would fucking lose to me in a debate. That's why I told him multiple times. I've shown you the messages with that fat slob of me messaging back and forth with him. I can't wait to get a message from him at any point and be like, hey, I heard you were talking shit about me again. Oh, shit. Oh, crap. Oh, there it is. June 8th. Okay, we're good. Okay. Oh, this is comments. Holy crap, that's funny. Anyway, so that's the whole Abu thing. He's a piece of shit. Eventually he'll have a heart attack, and then people, I'm sure Gabe will laugh. And I can't wait for him to be like, oh, well, you know, aren't you a Christian? No, actually, I'm not, because same thing, I'm not a conservative, because all of you have changed the definition of what is to be a Christian, what's to be conservative, what's it's to be a Republican. I am me. That's what I am. I believe that because a lot of you will believe that if you're a Christian, you should not have a death penalty, which I am very pro death penalty. I think that we should be protecting the innocent from the monsters that are out there, and they should be executed in front of everybody. We used to execute people for stealing cows and horses, and now everybody gets mad when a police officer aggressively handles a maniac, which is sad. It's very sad. All right, so I'm not going to promote this. I'm just going to leave it up here, okay? I can't wait for Rod to be like, do you see Whitmer? Do you see Whitmer putting up Gabe stuff? I can't believe it. Dude, I want to know what Megan Stoner is going to say. That's why. And I'm very happy that Rob called out Shreve. And by the way, right there he is right there, hanging out with Shreve, and nobody wants to talk about that. This was only a few months ago, by the way. And how funny is that it says integrity right on top of them. The most these two have the most integrity. Hold on. We're gonna get any messages. Anybody that's listening. There. Come back. There we go. Ah, crap. Hold on. Just I'm gonna listen to that. We got done with that. Done with that. Don't trust those people. Don't trust the tortas. That guy's a moron. That guy's a dipshit. Hard. Talked about that. Talked about that and that. And oh yeah, so this happened at the end of April too. I forgot why I had this up there. Now I remember. I'm a dudist. You know, here's the thing though. Like, I can talk to anybody. Okay, I will listen to anybody, but as soon as you try starting shit with me, I'm gonna go ham on you. You're dead to me. When you start acting like a fucking retard and just saying the most ridiculous shit, that's when I become your enemy, because I cannot stand dumb people. And it's not even like, oh, you're not smart. It's just agreeing with the worst take ever. All right. Speaking of, though, so FSSA, yeah, doing what's right for the right reason. There we go, Jimmy. That's what it is. And, you know, doing right is subjective, of course. But if Abu is an individualist, would that not say, why should I be forced by the government to get an experimental jab? Because he's a hypocrite. And if there's one thing that I cannot stand, it is a hypocrite. You are saying that people should be more of an individualist. Okay, well then, why should I have to get a jab? This is like, I have a bulletproof vest on, so if bullets are coming my way, I have a better chance of surviving. But that doesn't mean that you should have to wear a bulletproof vest. That's fine, because, yeah, Abu is all about diversity too. I think we talked about that not long ago, right? Why is diversity a bad thing? Do it on your own dime. It shouldn't be forced down our fucking throat, moron. Abu. And that's just because he's black. That's why. But if you are so sure about the vaccine, your bulletproof vest, why should you have to force everybody else to get the vaccine if you're so confident in your bulletproof vest? That's what I never understood. Like, it's like every other vaccine. Like, if you're so confident on it that if there was a measles outbreak, hey, I already got my vaccine. I don't have to worry about it. Go get them, slugger. I don't care. It just never made any sense to me at all. But Abu's an idiot, so no shocker there. Speaking of idiots, though, Democrats, obviously, this was a good idea. FSSA which is the Family Social Services Administration. God, I hope I got that acronym right. They launched a new verification resource for people on Medicaid waiver waitlist. So I think like every couple of months, you're going to have to put in some information to make sure that you can get Medicaid. I love this, by the way. And by the way, someone message Brad and get him in the chat because we got to talk about fat people too. This was part of my arguments about Medicaid and fat people was you getting a taxpayer funded thing is a privilege. And there are markers, there are rules to it. And if you need to abide by these rules to get a taxpayer service, that is my point on this thing. If you're not, see you later. All right. And Medicaid is one of them. You should not rely on the government for everything. If you want to be not even a libertarian, but just be an adult. Stop relying on the government for everything. Oh, I need that ass swiping machine because I need to get the Abu dingleberries off my butthole. Stuff like that. Sometimes I get the Shabazz dingleberries and I have to clean them off with my bidet. But Andrea Hundley, towards the end of session, she admitted there are some improper payments, aka fraud, happening with SNAP benefits, but it's only a little, so it's no big deal. Let's just play this real quick.
Also want to just take a moment to mention that we are addressing the SNAP benefit issues and challenges with fraud, when in reality, we say that 10%, I've got the data here, that 10% of our SNAP benefits are considered improper payments. And I want to put that in context. National average SNAP improper payment, which could just be mistakes, by the way.
Don't care.
The national average is 11%, so we're below average.
This is the same take that dipshit Mike was talking about. Oh, well, we're better than the average. Oh, well, if you got $100 million and 10% of that is fraud, wouldn't you want that to get returned to the taxpayer so we don't have to do tolls? I'm just saying. But according to Hundley, hey, it's a little fraud, so it's not a big deal.
Other programs that we pay out funds to, like the foster grandparent program, has an average of 17% in improper payments.
Okay, let's fix that too.
So SNAP actually has very few improper payments, but we are going to be dedicating funds now to addressing an issue that I would say probably isn't an issue.
It is an issue because it's fraud. And I honestly, if they are purposely performing fraud, not even accident, and I know some of you are going to be like, well, where's the gray line? You know what? You got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm tired of my tax dollars going to fat, lazy people. Especially fat, lazy people that eat nothing but Cheetos and drink Faygo. And, I like Faygo too. Delicious.
For more context,
it's a lifestyle.
The Farm Service Emergency Conservation Program has a 45% rate of improper payments. So we do have other programs that do have challenging issues. Yeah,
and we should fix those too. And by the way, this was not even the first time that a Democrat brought this up. If you guys remember, Victoria Wilburn, that bitch, that made false accusations about me and John to the Capitol Police. She said the same thing.
I have regarding the work population of those on Medicaid is currently 61%. So I hope that whatever work that we continue to do to, quote unquote, filter out some of the fraud that might be happening, I'm sure that percentage is low.
Yeah, but it's still there. And I think we even made a comment about this whole. Democrats aren't that concerned about fraud. Is a little fraud okay? This was so funny too. So Vicky Wilburn, that bitch, goes misleading. Chairman even helped add to the statement regard fraud versus eligibility. Most of our healthcare fraud exists with corporations and entities. Mechanisms already exist to identify those who's no longer be out. Fraud is never okay, not even a little. So a little fraud is okay. That's what Hundley was saying. That's what Wilburn was saying. She's saying, oh, not a little fraud is okay or not okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know what? That's funny. I don't think Rob ever brought up Cindy Maurer either. So Cindy Mowry is, where is it? Accused of misusing. We'll just talk about it real quick. Accused of misusing public money for home improvement. A $7,500 check dated November 13, 2021. Investigators found only $3,000 was used to paint a lodge at the fairgrounds, while the same painters admitted to also working on Mowry's house. And now what's going on is that Todd Rokita is looking into it. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know what the hell is going on with Rokita right now. Losing a little bit of confidence in him. Just because of the whole Diego thing. I don't like it. Well, here we go. In April, last month, less than a month ago, actually a month tomorrow, the AG has filed a lawsuit against Cindy Mowry, and a prominent player in the GOP local politics, which is funny. It's so true. She basically rules Franklin Township for more than $12,000. He filed the complaint against Mowry in Marion County on March 7th and alleges that she wrongfully or neglectfully used public money and enriched herself with public funds by using the Marion County Fair Board. You know what? Who's talked about this? Nobody. Nobody's kind of talked about this. Now, I don't think Rob has. I know Abu definitely has. But if you remember, Abu said that it is her favorite chairperson. You guys remember that? Hold on, let me pull it up real quick. Because I am a man of my word. And I have brought this up many times. Make sure real quick. Where is it at? You remember, score one for the establishment. Bunch of jerk-offs. Where is it? I know I had it. Oh, there it is. Boom, right there. My favorite township chair. The same person that got in trouble. The same person that's getting sued by Rokita. Oh, hey, Drew, I saw you posted this picture. What is that? Drew, what is that? Drew, I know you're in the comments. Can you explain this one real quick? Because I'm just reposting it. That's all. I'm just reposting it. I said, well, this is interesting. Something that Drew posted. I'm not saying anything, by the way. I'm just bringing it up that Drew had it on there. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to say if it's true or not. I'm just saying, well, that's an interesting picture right there. So, got that. All right, so we're fucked. How Wayne Township helps immigrant teachers get certified in Indiana. Now, they're doing the same thing with doctors as well. Liz Braun brought this whole thing. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna talk about it, but Daniela Roblato came to the U.S. from Argentina in 2006. She didn't just move away from her family and homeland. She left behind her dream job. Okay, that does not make sense at all. She had a dream job in Argentina, but she was, she's moving back. She's moving to a different country. Came to the U.S. Yeah. Just 9 months into her first year of teaching preschool, Roblato and her husband moved to the U.S., despite the fact that she earned her college degree in Argentina. Then go back to Argentina, okay? Roblato worked in housekeeping and retail for years while learning English. Oh, okay. So why were you coming to this country then? She eventually earned certification as a teacher's aide. I have that kind of personality that I can adapt to every situation. That is the characteristic that helped me get through all these years with not actually practicing my degree. So now, 2 decades after leaving her teaching job, Roblato is studying to be a teacher again. She's one of 8 participants in Wayne Township Adult Education Pilot Program. So you're having by the way, you're having all of these immigrants who probably barely understand the language, and they're getting help, probably from taxpayers, definitely from nonprofits. Wayne Township Adult Education. What the fuck is this? Learn English, earn a high school diploma, access training. And by the way, what are you going to get out of this right here? This is like the worst thing ever. My volume up. I want to make sure that all of you understand what you are getting with this, because you're all saying, oh, this is great. She's going to be able to get a teaching degree, and we're really short on teachers. Well, what are we going to get with that?
Probability that a sample contains no more than one unmarketable tomato. No more than one unmarketable tomato.
I'm going to play this one more time because I can't understand what this Indian is saying.
That a sample contains no more than one unmarketable tomato. No more than one unmarketable tomato.
That's all I heard. Then he has lower standards. Wait a minute, Jimmy. So, are you saying that if you are a foreign healthcare worker, the medical certification has a lower standard compared to if you were a non-foreign medical healthcare worker? Because that would just be bananas. All right, so I have that kind. Okay, blah 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 blah. Many of the students in the classes are underemployed despite their degrees working as paraprofessionals. Okay, so why are you here then? Why are you in this country if you have a degree from another country? Why don't you just go there then? Because you're saying, you're telling us I've done, and there's not enough money for me to ever go back. Yeah, I know. You know what? I think John would agree with you as well, Jimmy. I talk to a lot of teachers. I have heard some crazy crazy stories. You know, I really want one of the legislators that hopefully will message me. There are some teachers that want to talk to some of these legislators. I can tell you that much, because there is some crazy stuff that we can't even post on. That is bananas, Jimmy. That is absolutely bananas. It's very easy to obtain. That is, and this is why I don't trust healthcare, by the way. Did you guys see that one lady? Oh crap, who was it? Was it Garbage Human? Hold on. I think it was Garbage Human that posted this. Trying to figure out how I have an 8-year-old, but I'm only 20. There is some healthcare doctor. What the crap? Your standard. This is what Abu is saying. Is hey, I'm okay with this. That's what Abu is basically saying. There was a doctor or someone who just got her medical trip. And she had a grill on. Like Garbage Human. Post that. God, I can't. Why do you post so much crap? Hold on. Find it real quick. He's like, I'm 24 and I just became a doctor. And he had a grill. God, I wish I. Oh, okay. Not on here. Oh, whatever. So if you what you consider American docs. Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing too. Hold on, let me I want it's a great I'm not in the healthcare field, obviously, because I would just go be an adult, put some dirt on it. Is it this one? Is it 470? It's maybe it was an H. Oh yeah, here it is. All right, so the bill establishes a limited medical license for individuals who have graduated from a certain international medical program, attain a healthcare facility sponsor in an underserved area, and meet certain other criteria. The bill provides that a limited medical license authorizes the recipient to practice medicine only at a healthcare facility in an underserved area. So basically, you have a sponsor that says, "Hey, we're gonna have you come over here. You didn't get your degree from this country. I'm sure you got it in Calcutta, where they poop everywhere, and that is their highest level of hygiene. But why don't you come over here? Because we're gonna put you in a underserved area where nobody wants to be a nurse or a doctor, but we'll put the foreign people over here." And I think it's going to be like every 5 or 7 years. I forgot how long the bill's limited license expires on December 31st, 2040. So 15 years, they're going to be studying this whole thing. The bill provides a limited medical license may be converted into an unlimited license. The bill allows the MLB, Major League Baseball, to require a comprehensive evaluation to determine the individual's competency. But if you're all, Jimmy, help me out here, but if you are all already have a very low bar for foreigners to get some kind of healthcare degree or whatever, and are you going to be lowering that bar even more? but I think there was only applicant for an unlimited list to practice. Oh yeah, osteopathic medicine to take all levels of the comprehensive osteopathic medical licensing. What is osteopathic? What is that? Is that for butt stuff? Help me out here. Oh, it's for massages. That's what it is. It's for physical manipulation of the body's muscle, tissue, and bones. Okay. So it's for like massages. We don't have enough massagers out there. All right. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's not looking good though. Is this a 990? Main Township Adult Education. Hold on. Help me out here. Hold on. Oh, yeah, it is. A Township Education Foundation. Maybe. Not that much. A lot. They're run by Lisa Baez. Donovan PC. The address is Avon. Hold on. Last year, we funded just over 210 classroom and school programs, projects. They're okay. I don't know. I'm not sure how much I homeopathic. I'm saying it wrong. Is that like homogenize? I don't say homogenize. I say homogize. In order to teach in Indiana, those educated outside the U.S. must meet requirements. Yeah, like speak English properly. Through the Indiana Department of Education, must hold a valid Indiana license. Oh, no kidding. Oh, license. I'm thinking driving. This is a nice rabbit hole. This evaluation cannot be completed without the foreign credential evaluation. So what the hell is that? Because to get a driver's license, to get a quick review, the license get a quick review and pass because of the healthcare shortage. Oh, so they're just running people through just so they can get the numbers up. Ah, crap. What did I copy paste? Foreign credential. Yeah. This is what my biggest worry is for teachers. Is that it's the same thing. You're going to bring all these foreign workers that are on H-1B visas. You can pay them less, possibly, and then you're just going to run them through, and then you're going to have worse education. So if you get worse education, all the Democrats and all the union people will be like, well, we need to fund more education. But turns out it's actually the foreigners that are making things worse. This is why, like, I always talk shit about Mexicans. I'm 20%, so I can get away with it. Look at these Mexicans, they're doing good work. No, you actually need more of them because they do crappy work. They're not that quick, so you have more of them. They can get the work done faster. When in fact, like, a competent person, you would only need 3 of them, but you need 5 Mexicans or double that for competence. Non-U.S. grad. Prevent certificate. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. I don't like it. That's all I'm saying. I think it's a terrible idea. Wait, did you have to do a background check to get your sub license too? Like, I don't. We see all these women and men having sex with children, basically. Like, what's the bar here to be a sub? Hold on. U.S. education license, different country, immigrants trained. That process, which can be lengthy, means highly educated immigrants are often overqualified for the jobs they are seeking. I doubt that. I really, really doubt that. In 2023, 20% of immigrants with a college degree were unemployed or working low-skilled jobs. Maybe because their level of education is different from ours. I'm just saying. Christy Intergray. Program staff said the certification won't just help the individuals get better jobs, it'll help their future especially those from immigrant families. So because you have all these English learning students, so you're going to bring in somebody who doesn't really know how to speak English well themselves, and then but they're going to speak the foreign language that this English learning student is here for, and then they'll get better. How about this? How about that's crazy. Oh, MS Word, Microsoft, medical science. I don't know. You know, acronyms. They're not my forte. Okay, so McIntert Gray hand-selected most of the participants for the pilot program based on their shared experience as immigrants. Oh, okay, that's interesting. But eventually, she's hoping to expand the prep class to all aspiring teachers. Okay, so you are having experience as an immigrant, but not that of a teacher or in any kind of education background. Oh, you're hey, you're a really good immigrant, and you have a very good experience being one. I'm gonna choose you. How to teach a teacher. Here should be rule number 1. Do you know how to speak the native language? If you don't, see you later. You're getting deported by catapult. Enjoy the piranhas. Because there is no reason why there are 13 different languages to take the Indiana driver's license. No. Okay, here we go. Foreign language knowledge examination. The BMV operator knowledge examination is now available in 13 different languages and accessible in all branches that have automated testing terminals with touchscreens. The operator knowledge examination is available in the following language: Arabic, French, Korean, Punjabi, Vietnamese, Burmese, German, simplified Chinese, whatever the freak that is, Russian, Chin, Japanese, Polish, and Spanish. Yeah, Polish. Bachelor or master's degree. Oh, okay. Thank you for clearing that up. There's only one language, and that's English. I will even, you know what? No more Spanglish either. All right. Either you can pronounce and speak English fluently, or your ass is out of here. And by the way, the English learning went up 5% of the state's budget for the next budget. So we need to spend more taxpayer money to teach kids how to speak the native language instead of just deporting them. So every time you get a blowout or you bend a rim, mess up your suspension, thank your local Mexican. I'm happy that those tacos are so delicious. Hopefully they were worth the trouble. This is unbelievable, honestly. I can't, it's crazy. Americans going overseas to medical school because it's unaffordable here. So how would that work? You're an American, you go to Calcutta, you know, the poop capital of the world. So you would okay. So you would learn over there, but then you would come back here to get certified. That's crazy. No. You know why everything's all messed up, though? It's because government got involved with college degrees. I did the research on this thing like a year or two ago, because it was what was it, Eisenhower, or who was it? Forgot which president it was. Maybe it wasn't Eisenhower, but there was a president who was like, you know, every child should be able to go to college. Hey, you know what? If we just gave the colleges some of our taxpayer money, they could lower the price of college. And guess what happened with that? It actually worked the other way around, like everything does. Yeah, we let Spanish speakers take Spanish in high school. That's cool. Well, how's their English? That's what I want. I don't give a fuck about Spanish people. I care about if they can speak English good. If they can't speak the native language well, they're gonna get deported by an air balloon. I'm gonna put them about 1,000 feet in the air, and then we're gonna do like Squid Games. I've never seen it, but I imagine something like that. And speaking of wasting our taxpayer money, CIB negotiating with designer for proposed downtown soccer stadium. This was the thing that pissed me off so bad. Yeah, I am bad. You know what, Tyler? I'm bad. I'm a bad boy is what I am. I'm tired of my taxpayer money going to these ungrateful foreigners where they can't even learn the native language while my roads are messed up. While I have a garbage prosecutor that wants to let child rapists and scumbag domestic abusers back on the street. I am. They take Spanish because it's easy and the degree requires a foreign language. What degree? What degree are you talking about? If you don't, you have to take a foreign language to learn how to do massages. See, this is why school is all fucked up. Like, you shouldn't have to be required. Dude, there was a requirement, I think, that just got taken away for African studies. You don't have to take a foreign language in high school. Okay, confirmed. Well, let me do for Indiana, maybe. I'm sure in California they say you need to learn about how to chop off your cock and so on and so forth. Where's ChatGPT? I'm okay with deporting all the Burmese in the Chin, by the way. They are not conservatives. Diploma, sorry. Which diploma? High school diploma? So are you required? Hold on. Are you language class in Indiana? Crap, I forgot to say in Indiana. Oh, okay. Okay, already. In Indiana, high school students are generally not required to take a foreign language course to graduate with the standard Core 40 diploma. However, students aiming for the academic honors diploma must complete 6 to 8 credits in the world languages. There's 6 credits in one language or 4 credits in 2. I'm just doing some deep and dirty chat GPT-ish, that's all. Starting with the graduating class of 2029, Indiana is implementing the new diploma requirements. Under these changes, students pursuing honors enrollment seal will still need to complete 4 world language credits. For the base diploma, there is no specific foreign language requirement. However, students must fulfill a world perspectives requirement. That is so fucking dumb. It's so fucking dumb. Huh? It doesn't make sense. Which can be met by taking an advanced world language course or a world-focused social study class. It's important to note that while foreign language courses may not be mandatory for all diplomas, many colleges and universities recommend or require at least 2 years of foreign language study for admission. Therefore, if you're planning to attend college and enrolling in foreign language classes during high school is advisable. That's so dumb. What the fuck is a world perspective? Someone help me out here. Hey, Spiro's in the chat. Let's go. We're so back. Spiro in the class. Hey, we were just talking about Abdul and how retarded he is, and how dumb these new diplomas are. Katie Jenner. Big. I thought I was gonna like her. Turns out not so. She's also a shill for the SCL program. Let's see. World perspectives. What is world perspective? Especially in Indiana. Okay, so world history. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that makes I'm fine with that. I thought it was gonna be like some subjective. Oh, we didn't you know that? Did you know the blacks actually invented toilet paper? Didn't you know they were the real kings and queens? That's what I thought we were gonna do. I thought that's what we were talking about. Okay, I have been debunked in real time. I'm good with that. Well, I can't hear you. I got things over my ears right now. World history, world geography, current events. Okay, so who makes up the current events? That's what I want to know, because history is decided by the winners. And if we know anything, is that the winners like to screw up history. I'm going to keep this up right now. I can't believe how easy it is to become a sub. I mean, Gabe said he's a sub. He's a substitute teacher. Yeah, how is that possible? Gabe, when do you have to report? And since you had some unfortunate stuff happen lately, does your thing get revoked? And if so, how soon? Okay. Now, does it matter what kind of felon you are? Or maybe there's just like a sweet and cute little felon. Or is it like you're a felon, which means you're a felon? Because I always wondered this. Like, there's so many good burglar movies. Like, what's that one with Ben Stiller? Where like he's trying to like a Robin Hood almost. Like steal from the rich and give to the needy. Like I really needy this Fago right now. Or I really need these new Jordans. No, is that, I mean, like, I feel like there's levels of felonies that maybe you can get away with while being a substitute teacher. I don't know. Obviously, I'm never going to be a substitute teacher because I'll put these fucking kids in the boo box. You guys know what the boo box is? Here, I'm going to show it to you right now. And I can't wait for this to be used on me in the future because this is going to be great. It's from Hook. I'm surprised that Lucy didn't know what the boo box was. Because I think it's good. I think it's that should be thought about maybe for the future. Don't comment. hey, Spear, let him comment. Hey. All right, you can message me privately, and I won't say it to anybody.
Who amongst us does not belong?
Oh,
Someone here does not belong. Stranger amongst the loyal, I will weed you out.
he's gonna weed him out. Dustin Hoffman.
You!
You bet against me bringing Pan back here, didn't you?
No.
Ah, tell your captain the truth. The boo box.
He's going in the boo box, folks. He's going in it. He's going in it. This is what I would do with all these little rat children. You ready? Ready? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Delightful. Not real scorpions. We put in, like, those creepy crawlers. Something like that. You remember that? Creepy crawlers? I mean, all of you guys had it. We made muffins, and then we made creepy crawlers all at the same time. All right. Be done with this crap. All right. Fuck this soccer stadium. Honestly. It's totally dumb. Soccer's dumb. You know what? People would gladly have a UFL team or a real baseball team before they would ever pick soccer. Soccer's dumb. And if I were to ever become mayor, I would dunk on Braun and say, get the fuck out of here with that. I do not care. All right, so let's talk about Ryan Mears real quick, because the prosecutor's race is happening next year, and I am slightly chubbed up thinking about it, because I cannot wait to be right about everything, because that's usually what happens. I am right about everything. So Ryan Mears is already hitting up the campaign trail a year away from the primary. I don't think Mears is going to have a primary opponent, because this guy is building up quite the war chest. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. I want to see how much money he has right now. Sorry. Still sobering up. Me yelling a lot is kind of helping me sober up, by the way. Maybe I need to start yelling more. Fear factor. I would totally do it, by the way. I would do it. I would go in the boo box. I would just grab them by my hand and then chew off their tail and go, lost my headset. All right. No, that's not possible. That's not possible. This is fake. There's no way. Hold on. All right, this is fake. 99,000. There's no way that he only has 100,000, because this guy had like a $1 million war chest. Hold on. This can't be right. That can't be right either. 40,000. Are you kidding me right now? What is going on? I have the right Ryan Mears, right? Yeah. All right, here we go. El Diablo number. See? I knew it. See right there. This was in what, 2022? Yeah, this was for 2022, the end of 2022. He had the El Diablo number 66. How much did Carrasco spend? Did she have like 800,000? Didn't Carrasco have quite a lot of money? 2022. Election. Oh, there's the annual. Yeah, she had a lot of money. $838,000. That's crazy. He still lost 60-40. Listen, I'm telling all of you right now, do not donate any money to, well, actually, I'm not going to say that now. If you guys want to go donate, go for it. Obviously, I will be here to find, and I will report back if the person that is running against Ryan Mears for the prosecutor is good or bad. I have two ideas who it might be. But as you can see, let's go back to this Nosferatu-looking motherfucker. Ryan Mears was at that round table with Mike Epps to talk about the youth gun violence prevention in high school. Here's an idea. Don't shoot each other. Oh my God, it's a novel thought, right? It's so crazy. If you just don't shoot each other, we won't have so much youth violence. And this is the same Democrat people. It's like, oh, well, there's guns around. Really? Because last I checked, there's a lot of white people out there in white high schools that don't shoot each other either. There's a lot less violence going on. But on May 1st, I was trying to find out what the numbers were for the homicide numbers right now. So in 2025, up to May 1st, there have only been 50. But we also have not had good weather right now. I expect, and look, we're already past 2018 and 2019. We will never have numbers like 2019 ever again. We are totally cooked. My theory right now, I was told I'm running for sheriff to arrest Mears and Abu. God, that would be so funny if you did, honestly. Well, remember, some person in Indiana won their primary, even though they were in jail for killing their wife. If you guys want to look it up real quick, go for it. I'm not going to. I think this was a couple of years ago. But I was looking up the homicide numbers for another piece of research. But so far in 2025, oh, who's this? Wasn't there? Why did I have this up? I had something else up. I don't know what it was, but that doesn't matter. All right, so they're always going to talk about percentages. I don't care about percentages. I want to see the real numbers. So right now, at this time last year, there were 71. Right now, there are 50. But this was May 1st, by the way. And what's today? Like, that was a couple of weeks ago. And I think we're already up a couple more from that. So we're probably in like the mid 50s, maybe high 50s right now. So and following a record year, Marion County prosecutor to focus on public corruption in 2025. Really? Because that whole boys and girls thing is very questionable if that was taxpayer money going to for the gym memberships that we talked about earlier. So the numbers are funny. And by the way, I don't know what the hell happened to Jenny Dressler, but she got thick. I mean, if you look at her at this one, I don't know what the crap happened. The prosecutor's 2024 annual report shows a 94% conviction rate on the homicide cases. I think that number was higher the year before. Oh, let me see if I can find it. Annual. Oh, I think 23 had okay, so that's 92%. Our officers took shot at the 2023 annual report. Clever load. 92% murder conviction rate. It should really be higher than that. Those are dropping the buckets, I would think. Like, you have a homicide, you have all the evidence there. How are you? And I almost wonder if these are also plea deals are involved with this whole thing. And it chose to take a trial. Hold on. 94% conviction rate on the homicide cases. It chose to take to trial an 84% conviction rate on sex crime cases. The attempted murder prosecutions resulted in convictions 83% of the time, in gun cases 87.5%, which is interesting because I kind of wonder how the numbers are done, because there are so many times where we see these gun crimes are dismissed. Now, is that included with it because there was a plea deal? It's like, hey, we'll dismiss the gun charge. Oh, but that'll go into our great numbers. I don't know. I don't exactly know. I don't trust any of the numbers, obviously. I was waiting for this. This is from somebody else. Am I on the big screen, Drew? That's what I want to know. Um, so I don't know how they're doing these numbers. I would really like to know what goes into them because I don't trust anything from the Marion County Prosecutor's Office. Obviously, attempted murder prosecutions resulted in 83% of the time. So how are we over time? That's what I would like to know too. And now we're gonna be hold on. Lack of staffing. That's why we have oh, this is so funny. That's why we have elections, and that's the great thing about democracy is we get feedback from all the time from the community. Every time we go to a jury trial, that's feedback from the community, and the community telling us that we are doing the right thing or not. Well, maybe your jury trials are crap. Maybe your jury trials are compromised. You ever think about that? Maybe they're biased. Now that he considers his office fully staffed and the backlog of COVID cases have been whittled down, Mears said that's because they were running through. Carrasco actually brought this up during her run. This was one of the things that she should have really went heavy on was about just all of these things getting pushed through as fast as possible just because there was such a huge backlog. Indianapolis Mayor Hogsett has not definitively said he will not run for re-election in 2027, though he continues to hold high-dollar political fundraisers. You know why, though, right? It's because Hogsett does not like Ryan Mears. Hogsett originally was trying to get Moriarty as prosecutor. So Moriarty was running in the primary against Mears. Hogsett had picked Moriarty. Well, by the way, Moriarty is the husband of Breanne Delaney, who is a city councilor. Obviously, that was totally compromised. A 50-inch TV. Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I'm on the biggins. That's so awesome. But that's what had happened. So this article talking about how Hogsett's running all these high-dollar campaign stuff. What was it? The high-dollar political fundraisers. He's trying to help out VOP. That's just my theory, by the way. It's basically going to be, and I think that's why Hunley is wanting to drop out because they want VOP in there. Now, from what I understand, Jared Evans wants to run for mayor, which would be the funniest thing ever. I hope that he does. I honestly hope that he does. Because that means that seat will become empty and Lisa would have a better chance of winning. I hope that she runs again if Jared Evans does run for mayor. Jared Evans will do worse than Larry Vaughn. I would vote for Larry Vaughn. Hold on. I don't understand the whole public corruption. I don't understand why. Is it even brought up? Okay. So they want to go after public corruption, whether it be outright solicitation of bribes or misappropriation of public funds or initial misconduct, which could include inappropriate private behavior, violating the public trust. Okay. And then what? And then what are you going to do? See, one could say that this is a political witch hunt for VOP because VOP is opening a PAC, a political action committee. So, and none of that stuff is public information of who is donating to VOP. You know, obviously, if this is the tinfoil hat in me thinking about was like, okay, why are you really doing this when we have had 500, is it, or 200 plus homicides for 5 years straight? But you're like, oh, we're going to go after public corruption. That's dumb. I mean, there are way better fish to fry, is what I mean. So, all right, Jenny Drissler's getting thick. Ah, crap, I did it again. Excited. All right, so Ryan Mears has not posted anything on his Twitter. I wonder if he's posted anything on his Facebook. Because what I have noticed is that people like Fiona McCormick and Cunt Carlino, they are posting on Facebook, but not on Twitter. Ah, yep, that's what's going on. Oh, no. Okay, not really. Okay, I'm wrong. Yeah, he doesn't really post on Facebook either. So it's mostly with the prosecutor's office. So you can see here, he was our guest this morning on Voices of the West Side. Afterward, he spoke with A331 Career Center criminal justice students and took their questions. What the fuck is that? And does this guy not look like he's about to shoot up the whole school? I'm just saying. Drew do what? Oh, no. So Drew is watching me on a 50-inch TV right now, which is awesome. Okay. I know it's a little bit blurry right now. I'm just saying, keep an eye on this guy. Just saying. This guy, right? All right, so he has been making the rounds, the prosecutor's office, and talking about, they've been doing this for a little while. This one's really funny, too. Recently, our partner professor at Lonnie Sylvie and IU McKinney Law Students discussed the impact of providing second chances through re-entry clinics to those re-entering our community. This is why I cannot stand these liberal bitches, is because they're all like, oh, you know what? Who cares if he was a sex offender or maybe he molested his nephew? But he really deserves a second chance at life. Who cares if this person chopped off this lady's arm and decided to eat it? This person really needed to be a second chance in life. This is why you cannot trust any Democrat woman. Because they're all using weaponized empathy to make you feel bad for these child rapists. Voices of the West Side. I can't wait for the primary, honestly. They're going to run somebody against them. I just don't know. It might be Moriarty again. All right, so here's my two chances. This is who I think is going to be running for prosecutor right now. I'm probably wrong, by the way. I will tell you this right now. I am probably wrong. One of them is Whitney Peterson. She's in LA for IPAC. Fellow at Mitch Daniels' leadership, obviously. Deputy fundraiser for who? Brad Chambers. Brad Chambers of Indiana. And Brad Chambers was the former president of the IEDC. Definitely the most liberal Republican that you would have ever seen. Also, he on his political on his political test for Brad Chambers, it showed that he was the most liberal out of everybody. I think Braun was like just slightly right, which, to be honest with you, I was slightly right as well. I was more center right than anything. And I've said this many, many times. I am center right on some things, a center right or center on other things, and very hard right on some other stuff. Like jailing people for going slow in the fast lane. That's an automatic deportation too. If I could find it. So I know some of you also like, who is this Whitney Peterson person? She is part of the Marion County GOP chair. Oh, that fat slob was at the Pike Township Town Hall? Damn. Maybe I should have went to that. Hold on. Oh, you got to be kidding me. There's a reason why I'm bringing this lady up, by the way, and some of you already know what I'm going to talk about, but I have to find it. Should have been ready. Oh, here it is. So this was part of the establishment of the county chair. You got Dave Taylor, Whitney Peterson, Natalie Goodwin, and Matt Hills. Now, I know who that is. So that's Whitney Peterson right now. And so that's one of my thoughts of who would be running for prosecutor. And the reason why is because she's totally establishment. And she's already part of the club. And we all know that I've been saying since February or even before that this whole thing is going to be used as a consulting op to make sure that Limestone and Bullhorn and Midwest all get their money. Also, political fundraiser for Holly Sullivan. Interesting, right? Bo's Public Affairs, onward and upward. So my other thought too, I think this would be the better if I'm right, is Courtney Curtis. I thought this was a dude at first. I thought this was like Dylan Mulvaney. Now Courtney Curtis has I first saw her, hoping that it's a her, for IPAC. She was part of hoping that it's a she, was part of the HB 1006, which was the Ryan Mears bill. And IPAC was in favor of a lot of it. As far as I know, she seemed okay. I don't know. And like I said, I don't know if these two, but right now we're still a year away from the primary. We're still 5+ months away from anybody even announcing that they're going to. My guess is no one's formally announcing until they actually sign the paperwork. I don't think anybody's even going to file the paperwork for, what is it, Discovery Committee, whatever you call that. But, I mean, come on. Am I not right? Looks like a dude, right? Sure, she's very nice. But she, like I said, this is part of the HB 1006, part of IPAC. The average salary of full-time deputy prosecutor in Indiana is $89,000, according to IPAC. That's less than average starting salary for a private sector. Well, it's taxpayer money, all right? The Laura event. Who's the Laura? I know I probably won't, because I have my debate with Brad on Tuesday. So unless it's like in Marion County, close to me. But HB 1006 would see the state provide funding to counties to pay for half the salary of a deputy prosecutor if they're paid at least 55% of the elected prosecutor's salary. Now, this also in that bill was like, if the prosecutor is not doing their job, they would not get the money. But I believe the fiscal was taking out of it, just like everything else was. And I remember watching that committee meeting. I think Aaron Mishler was like, yeah, this money's out of it. We can't do anything fiscally, so we're taking that out of it. And Freeman said the same thing. What's the date on this? March 11th. Yeah, Freeman was funny. I don't see this as some super prosecutor's office that's going to sweep in and take over of what good work is doing. Holy crap, definitely not doing that. $200 a head. Is that the one in Speedway? The Young Republicans one? Is that the one in Speedway? Because I was making fun of that. Speaking of jerk-offs, Steve Garpaz, I think he's in Fort Wayne or some crap. Probably smart guy, but this is what happens when you're smart, but you're also dumb. He's talking about the inflation and $34 trillion in debt. You want to keep borrowing to fund Ukraine pensions and a fight they can't win. You need Trump back because his first tax hit didn't stimulate growth as we bring him back. Inflation's dropped off. We've avoided a recession. Carbon emissions are a 30-year low while simultaneously producing more oil and gas. Really? Then why is gas prices so fucking high then? Why is it that now Trump is in office, my gas prices have gotten lower? Carbon emissions is just the worst take ever. And who's even doing that study? Yeah, I'm definitely not going to the Speedway one. You know, I was making fun about, I was personally posted it up of how crazy it is. That's $200. Let's see if I could find it real quick. It's $200 for this Young Federation Republicans campaign for whatever. But the Democrat Party is having a PC learning. Here. While Republicans are charging $200 a head, Marion County Democrats are putting this on for free. Learn how to become a precinct committee person. Be the leader of your neighborhood needs. Where is the Indianapolis GOP? That's what I want to know. Debate is at 8 o'clock. I just don't want to pay $200 a head for a party that fucking hates me. That's my biggest problem. When they are super corrupt. Speedway GOP is crazy corrupt. The only person that is good in there is Nick. I forgot his last name. Super nice guy. But like Phil and who's that fat boomer? I forgot what his name is. There's only one person in that whole club that is good. Freak, why can't I remember his name? I don't know. Nick something. Cut off or whatever. But like the guy Phil, he ran in 2022 for judge, I think. He's corrupt. He voted for Natalie. I mean, at this point, fuck the GOP. I don't like them. Let them burn. I think that's what we have to let it do right now. I mean, there's no, we posted this earlier today too. We were trying to go light on the posting. We've noticed that the impressions are going, are dropping down. But like, here we go. Do you guys know where Chesterton is at? Chesterton is like near Michigan City. It's over by LaPorte. Pat Boy, who really doesn't do anything, has a town hall happening on a Saturday from 10 to 11:30 at the Red Cup Cafe. Where are all the Indianapolis Republican legislators with their town hall? That's what I want to know. Boehning, McGuire, even Ireland. Listen, you guys all know how I love Ireland, all right? He's number one on the trust chart. I will do security for all of you guys. I just want a town hall. That is all I ask for. Do it at a library so they have to be quiet. Do it at a park. I don't care. I just want to know that the Marion County GOP actually gives a damn. Listen, you guys know how I am in person. I will mog every one of these Democrats and point at them and say, shut the fuck up, and kick them out. I'll grab them by the throat and shoo them out. I have mace. I will do it. I will rip out their eyeballs and skull fuck them. I do not care. All right. All I want is a GOP town hall. Micah has not even come to Marion County, and he has told me, he has promised me that I get the help with security when he comes to Marion County. And I tell you what, that gets me hard, because that means I will be able to stab someone in the face, which I have been looking forward to a long time. But not literally. Not literally. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Anyway. That is all I'm saying. You know, Speedway, do you remember back in 2022 when they were supposed to have a GOP, maybe not town hall, but get together in Speedway, and then they canceled it, and I was making fun of them. And it's like, well, I guess that's you're not going to be having this thing. And they're like, what are you talking about? We're totally going to have it. It's like, no, you're not. Speedway Republicans, right? That's all I'm asking for. It's just like, give a little bit of a shit. Speedway Republican, political party. Back in 22, and they don't even post anything. There it is. Yeah, Nick Sturgeon. I think Nick Sturgeon's a real one, by the way. Yeah, coffee with a can. That was in 2023. Oh, yeah. Hey, Slick Whitty comes to the table as usual. Great change to meet a person. We are lucky to have Sarah running in District 5. Coffee with a candidate, Friday, September 2023. And when was this happening? At 9:45 a.m. Hunley does the same thing, by the way, when you have these elected officials having coffee in the middle of the day. Well, guess what? People have to work, so yeah, there we go. So your salary can be paid. Okay, so Sturgeon, I think, is a real one. Have no idea about Gardner. Fuck Vince Noblet. I don't know who this guy is, but he looks like a skinwalker. And I thought Philip Faust was also part of it, too. Oh, look at, and one of our own is Republican of the Week. Look at this used up tire, Julie Calvert Watts. Fuck this chick. Not literally, though. Definitely pass. No, I'm just showing Speedway Republican. He's compromised with the rest of the. No, nothing in the party. He was trying to just get the boomers all gooned up. Why I lost my primary, because all the boomers like, we need more women in office, and then they vote for some used tires so they can get their dick hard. All right, enough of that jerk off. All right, so one last thing before I want to listen to this this thing right here. It's a half an hour long, but I want to talk about the sleepy pies of these elected officials. Here we have Debbie Dingleberry of Michigan sleeping during session. This woman has a net worth of $8 million. Congress has passed a record low 5 bills since Trump was in office. But here we go, taking a little nappy to Mrs. Dingleberry right here. Also, Mike Lindell in with the pillow is here to help Miss Dingleberry. But not only that, but this guy was straight up snoozing. So they were calling Mr. Moore, and he's like, oh my God. And everybody's laughing like, oh, I'm so happy that my congressman is taking a nap. And here we go. Oh, hold on. You can't. Oh, this person's sleeping right here. I haven't even watched this before. This is a whole compilation. Napping. Yep, they're all napping. And if you remember, back in February, Hugh Glick was taking a nap during a committee meeting that we caught, and she got woken up by somebody with coffee. She's not on her phone. She's not playing Candy Crush or anything. She's straight up there snoozing Glick. Okay, so I actually have one more thing. I had two more things. I got two more things. All right. All of us know about oh yeah, we're at perfect timing right now. All right, so Kevin Dahlgren, if you guys want to talk about the homeless situation in Portland, Oregon, holy damn. I recommend you go on Twitter and follow this guy. I don't know if he has a Facebook page. I don't really go on Facebook, so it doesn't matter. But I would recommend you give a follow to Kevin and Tara. They are doing boots on the ground, homeless thing. But I've talked about this for a long time. Housing First is a scam, and Kevin agrees. It has been a spectacular failure that Progressive refuses to acknowledge because it has generated billions of dollars for the homeless industrial complex. Don't take my word for it. Listen to the homeless. She invited Tara and I into her tent and explained why housing the homeless without any preparation or support is about the worst thing that you can do. This goes back to the rent-a-car model. They do not care. They don't know how to treat a clean place where you can take a shower, you can be safe, you don't have to worry about getting raped, hopefully. And but all you have to do is be a courteous person and actually care about where you are being housed. And that's the problem with all these bums, all these parasites. They don't give a damn. They just want to be able to take their socks off, clip their toenails, smoke a little fentanyl, and going on with life. They want to have their 3 meals a day. Holy crap. 75 and older. Yeah, I guess so. It's crazy to see it in Congress, but it's even crazier to see it on a state level. I mean, everybody has seen how often that I talk shit about boomers all the time. And there are based boomers, and all the based boomers are in my chat right now. All right, so you are the lovable boomers that I will always give my sword to. All right, so under the philosophy of Housing First, a person is not required to make any changes whatsoever in order to receive housing for life. The graphic explains the components of the Housing First iCircuit voluntary personalized services, which translates to the client is not prepared to make. There is going to be a Housing First thing happening in Indianapolis. I think Corey knows what I'm talking about. Oh, well, by the way, Corey, Libertarian meeting on Wednesday. Same place. I just verified it today. The Housing First is a terrible model because, like what Kevin says, they are not prepared for it. There are no minimum requirements for it. This is why a lot of the homeless people will get kicked out of shelters. Because guess what? You're not allowed to smoke crack in there. And you have to use the bathroom properly. Don't grab your poo and start smearing it all over the walls. Don't start making finger painting with the poo-poo. That's kind of, it's a pretty low bar, to be honest with you. You can't take someone that is free and put them in a cage. I met a homeless man that does not believe in a Housing First model. He said it's a money-driven program that doesn't help them the way they need to be helped. He said it shows they don't understand this. He believes, and I agree, you need to prepare a homeless person for housing to assure they will be successful. Well, how do you do that? That's what I would like to know, because I feel like there is a common sense model that says to every human living person out there, you cannot do drugs here. All right, there's a minimum requirement to have your Housing First. One is no drugs. Two is you're not allowed to jerk off in public. Three is you're not allowed to poo on the floor. I mean, I would say 4, but I think number is you're not allowed to set the place on fire. I'm just saying. I don't feel comfortable with her being a blood donor. Oh, she's a blood donor? Hold on.
Outside, I had a tent in the corner, and I'd go hang out with people. And it's like they put people in an apartment, and they're so used to being out in the community and having hanging out with all their friends everywhere. And so, you know, you feel like just bored. And what do? You're sitting up in an empty apartment doing nothing. And all of a sudden, you're like, it's just like it's so foreign and it's so uncomfortable. And most people get really lonely, even though I don't typically get lonely. I definitely, they miss that community part. They need to put something in place when they do housing for people that that keeps them engaged in their community and their friends and stuff.
That's
because
easy.
otherwise they're going to want to fuck off their housing and end up right back on the street.
Well, here's the problem with that. Most of your friends are drug addicts, and they would try and get you to do more crack.
You know what you just described was the housing first model. The housing first model puts a person into housing immediately. Without really even any preparation to actually live indoors. And they usually burn out quickly because they don't have the support system they need, like you just described.
We've heard it quite a bit, actually. We've heard people say the same thing as you quite a bit.
Yeah.
Very.
There's got to be, it seems like one of the biggest reasons that I would think, just by thinking about it on my own, just randomly.
It's so insightful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it from The Shining? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Or what Matt Chandler said, I think, a bored man is a dangerous man. Here's the, and I get what they're saying, and this is coming from a guy that used to be addicted. I used to be a smoker, right? Back 15, 17 years ago or something like that. Used the assisted living. Which one is that one, Jimmy? I really don't know what that model is. I will look it up though. But you have to keep people distracted because they are set up on a routine, and now you're putting them in a place where they are bored and they don't know what to do. So what's the easiest and fastest thing to do? Smoke crack or whatever. Hooker themselves out. They need to feel like they are part of something. And, you know, this kind of goes into a much bigger picture of, you know, mental health and whatever, but, or just people in general, is that they have to feel like they are doing something worthwhile. I'm not talking about going on vacations or going out and doing something adventurous, but something actually part of the community. Is something to do with helping out your fellow man, feeling like you have purpose. Because without purpose, what the fuck are we even doing then? And that's the biggest problem that everybody is happening, that everybody has right now. And I will tell you what, when you have a bunch of drug addicts that are used to living in crap and not being a part of society, and if you really want to change them, it's probably not going to work. And this is just, it's the realest of real thing that most of these people do not want to change. They love drugs more than life. And they are basically a lost cause. But if you're going to help somebody out, you're going to have to do it early. Proms, games, events. Yeah, you know, it's something like that. Okay. I think I talked about this before. But one of my plans was, if I were to ever run for mayor, is having basically like a homeless village. And I would run as a libertarian because I just want to get it on the debate stage and just wreck the Republican and Democrat. Well, one of my ideas was the Bob program, the Bums on Bikes program. You just have to keep them distracted. You have to wear them out to the point where they don't want to do crack. So you're going to have like a small room, right? Probably a 12 by 12 room that's easy with its basic stuff. A porta potty, everything's plastic, so you can just hit the whole thing with a pressure washer because they're going to have poop everywhere. The easiest to clean up. Well, there will be a bike in there. And if they want to power things up, they want to watch TV, they want a light or whatever, all they have to do is get on the bike and pedal. And that bike will be powering a generator. Well, not powering a generator, but be running a generator. And that generator will be powering a battery, a boat battery, basically, in the lamest of sense. And then that boat battery will charge whatever is in that room. So say you want to watch Netflix or whatever, or you need something to do. Here you go. This is the game that you can play. Most of these homeless people are easily distracted anyway, and you just got to keep them busy. So you wear them out with the bike, and then they get to play games on whatever. So What? Yeah. So how will this whole thing be funded? Well, because we are such a fucked up society and watch Bravo, we can watch homeless people. All those little cameras that you can get for your security cameras, they will tie into the internet through Wi-Fi or whatever. And guess what? We can sponsor everything. Hey, here comes the Lilly Endowment, brought to you by Simon or whatever. The cloud. What's the big one? I can't even think of it. Salesforce or whatever. And everybody can pay a fee to watch the bums. And if you're feeling a little bit, hey, I want this bum to have a thing, you know, kind of like, I hate to relate it to Hunger Games, but it's something like that. Hey, I really like Lori. I want to give her a pie. And so you can pay money and you can have all these things stored. Or here's an idea. Since all these games are automated, have them trick them and to think that you're playing a game with them. Checkers, Connect 4, and it'll be on a screen that's protected by a strong glass, but you can still touch it. Nothing that they can throw, obviously, into the tree. Did you like Black Mirror? You want to give it a try? Hey, how'd you feel about Black Mirror, homeless people? Oh, wait a minute, you never saw it? You know, there are some good ideas. Yeah, I know where this goes. By the way, Corey, I'm very well aware of where this goes. All right. And, you know, one is like Lex Luthor. I'm like, ha ha ha. I'm just saying, you know, we got, if we're going to go through this route, we're going to have to go all the way through. We can't just do a little bit at a time. I know. Or we could just lobotomize them. You know what? We'll just lobotomize it. I'm fine with that too. You know, I'm all aboard the lobotomy train. We gotta keep them distracted. You know, we can do like what's that movie? The Orange. What am I thinking of? Huh? Clockwork Orange. Yeah, we could always Clockwork Orange them, or like Blanca them from Street Fighter. You know what I'm talking about? Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up because I love that movie. Free pie for the homeless. Yeah, yeah. You know. And that's the thing, too. You can sponsor a lot of this stuff through all these groups, all these nonprofits that are wasting their money anyway. Hey, they're going to need, you can kind of feel into the homeless industrial complex. You have all these drones that can drop off things. You can even have like a chimney. If I could like drop it through the chimney. I can't wait. I can't wait for Corey to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I am very aware of where Blanca Street Fighter. I'm hoping that it's in here. Yeah. It's basically Clockwork Orange. Yeah, here it is. Hold on. If you haven't seen Street Fighter, go see it. It's got the Gomez from Addams Family. All right, so obviously he turns into this green monster, but he was actually where is it? Oh, my face. Where is it? He gets tricked into this machine. He's like showing a bunch of graphic stuff, but then the Indian dude like changes it. I don't know. It's in this part though. And it's basically Clockwork Orange. It's mind manipulation. One could even say MK Ultra without the L is D, of course, even though that might help the homeless people a little bit more. One could say. But you know, you can visualize it, right? You can visualize it. All we have to do is just keep them distracted for a little bit. Wear them out, wear them down. Go do some digging. I mean, have you ever seen like a coked up or cracked out homeless dude? They're just a big ball of energy. It's like watching a dog with the zoomies. Why don't we like have them do something? Let's have them go build a garden. I mean, they're kind of shitting everywhere anyway. We can compost it at some point. That Nancy, yeah, it's Pelosi. So true. You know, same thing though. That's all I'm saying. You know. It's something like that, because this housing first thing is not going to work. I think it comes out next year. Maybe Corey can help me out with that one. I think it's happening not far from me. Housing first, Indianapolis. Partners. Where is it happening? Our properties, partners in housing. They're working. Wait, they actually have it already in Indy? Hold on. Can't be right. Oh, boy. Housing First Partners Conference. Oh, okay. Buying homes in India and driving up price. Yeah, we already knew that. This Rabbi Aaron Spiegel, huh? A rabbi, you don't say. Interesting. Anyway. What are you going to do? Anybody else in the comments have a better idea? I'm just saying, we got to wear them out. We got to keep them distracted. We got to not only their body, but their mind. Because if any of you guys out there who have had anxiety problems, it's not, you can wear someone out, but it's the heart. It's the body that will still keep you awake of whatever you're thinking about. That's really where it is. It's in the mind. That's fucking you up. All right, speaking of mind, so since black students typically do not excel in AP math and science classes, advanced placement, a Virginia school district has created an AP class in Black Joy. That's right. The whole purpose of this is to increase AP credits for black students artificially. Let's have a listen.
All right, let's get right to it.
Here at South County High School in Lorton, these students are hard at work making
They're playing with Play-Doh.
Masterpieces, recreating sculptures like the ones you would see in ancient Western Africa.
Huh? That step shows you have a lot of things to have cultural sensibilities.
Talking about things like Black Joy and historically black colleges and universities. It's all part of the new AP African American Studies pilot class.
My goal is to give them holistic history, as much information as possible,
history.
And then hopefully they'll take that information and make the world a better place.
I felt like there was like a gap in my knowledge about African history, so I thought this class would be a great way to deepen my knowledge.
The class launched after months of drama nationwide. In April 2022, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed the Stop Woke Act, limiting how racism can be taught in schools. Then in January 2023, the Florida Department of Education banned AP African American Studies, saying it violates state law. And
so Indiana, I think, did the same thing. I think they did it in 2017. What is that? Something in the background. Something in the background. Wait a minute. There's some. I can hear something in the background. Where's it coming from? Wait a minute. It's on Twitter. Okay, there we go. I don't even know what. Now I started hearing that. That's weird. Anyway, all right, back to AP. And so I think 2017 they had maybe African American Studies course too, but I think they're getting rid of it now. Let me double check, but let's listen.
And lacks educational value. A month later, the College Board stripped down the curriculum, removing lessons on critical race theory, the queer experience, black feminism, and Black Lives Matter. Then Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin asked for a review of the class to see if it violates his ban on divisive concepts in school. The State Department of Education announced last month it found no issues with the class.
I think sometimes the criticism might be because people assume the class is political in nature, but it's really not. We've learned a lot about different things, and we look at it through art, through different documents. The class at a face value, it's literally like a history class. Like, we're just learning about African history. It's not about trying to change our mindset about stuff. It's just about learning new things.
To me, the class is more than just an educational experience. It's a sharing of culture and where we learn from each other, and we're all lessons every single day.
The College Board says starting next year, all high schools can choose if they want to offer the class, except in Florida, where it's still banned. Amy Cho, News 4.
All right, so I did a little quick and deep and dirty on, because I could have swore I remember reading it. So beginning in 2017, Indiana law required high schools to offer an ethnic studies elective at least once a year. In 2025, the Indiana legislature repealed the requirement for high schools to offer the ethnic studies course. I don't understand why Republicans aren't talking about this more. This would be so. I'm surprised Democrats aren't talking about this more. I'm sure now that I'm talking about it, Democrats going to be like, oh, Republicans are racist. They got rid of the African studies or the, what was it? Ethnic studies. There we go. So racial groups including African Americans, Latino Americans, Asian Americans, and Native Americans. However, enrollment in this course was optional for students. Okay, but then they got rid of it. Why? Because they don't know how to read or write. There you go. Problem solved. Yeah, you wonder why we are importing teachers from overseas. But, you know, don't forget that college also had a Taylor Swift college courses on Taylor Swift on the syllabus. Her songbook is now required reading for some college courses. Did this happen in Texas, I think? Let's see. Taylor Swift, Psychology of Music. Fearless, Social Development. Speak Now, Parasocial Relationships. Red, Theories of Emotion. 1989, Social Media. Reputation, Revenge. It is so damn funny. Where was, oh, it was in Arizona. This is why we need to stop funding colleges. This is why taxpayer dollars should not go to colleges. Ever, by the way, ever. All that money needs to be taken out. Where's this? Belgium, University of Texas at Austin, New York University, and Stanford. How the hell does Stanford? Okay, Stanford just took a major L. But, oh yeah, how to build a TikTok brand at Duke University. Defund all colleges right now. I don't want to hear about it anymore. So dumb. Class engagement is a big motivator. You know what I saw? It was a teachers are now, because kids' brains are so fried, all the iPad babies, their brain is so fried that now when they're showing a video, they have to have like the thing on the bottom. Have you ever seen that? When there's like someone's talking, but on the top half, but then on the bottom half, there's like a game being played, like a Minecraft game, because these children just cannot focus. So they have to have like screen maxing. They have to be listening, but also have that at the bottom. It's fucking crazy, to be honest with you. It just shows like how screwed up we are, how social media really screwed everybody up. Not even so much the internet. I mean, one can make an argument for the internet. I won't. You see, I can't help but notice that the students in this high school AP class are also making things with children's Play-Doh, not even clay. In what age range do children normally make stuff with Play-Doh in school? The comments are delicious. It's so pathetic having to cater to those left of the bell curve just so they feel better about themselves. Oh, God. This chart explains the vast majority of different outcomes we see between racial groups in the U.S., which is why they push so hard to suppress this vital information. In the absence of this knowledge, the only explanation left is systemic racism. You actually see this in the iLearn. I mean, all that data is public too. Like we've gone through it before, where there is a dramatic difference in every one of the I guess races, right? Yeah. Not even so much genders, but races. You can see that this, and it was the funniest thing ever. I might have to do it next Saturday. I might have to do this part of the show where I spend a little bit more time on it. I won't do it for the Whitty Reviews, because I'm sure you guys won't. But I was going through the iLearn data, and you could see that like on the black chart, it was so much lower than the Hispanic and the white. Not then Asians were doing pretty good. A lot of the sometimes they were doing better than whites. So I thought to myself, all right, what about a predominantly black school? Because what I already see where some of the arguments are going to be like, oh, well, that's mostly a white school. Well, and then, you know, black kids learn differently than white kids. And like, all right, so if you're in a predominantly black school and you only have a few white kids in there, you know, say you have like 15% of the students that go there are white, and then the rest of them are Mexican, or you can say brown, Hispanic, and then black. Well, those white kids still did better than the Mexicans, aka Browns, and the blacks. It was kind of interesting to watch, because I'm like, all right, what argument are you gonna make about this? And it just shows like I can't wait for every other argument. Oh, well, you know what? The teachers aren't black. Well, actually, they are black. Oh, it's because they don't have they don't have a father in their home. Okay, well, apparently some of the white kids don't either. Like, what are we even talking about here? Like, what arguments are you gonna make up? You can go into the weeds on this shit pretty good. I always will, because I think it's funny. And we see everything happening with IPS too. And I think it's the iLearn data, the school that had the best scores was a private school in Gary, which that surprised the shit out of me. We even look at here, iLearn combined proficiency. This is from the Office of Education and Innovation. I believe this is 2024. So Decatur, 15%, Franklin Township, 34, Lawrence, 15, 29 for Perry, 11 for Pike, which is kind of funny. Washington Township, 23, 12, and where I live in Wayne Township, Speedway, 46.2. I don't even know why they're in there, but whatever. IPS, 14.8. Very funny. They are definitely on the lowest of them. Actually, they're not that bad compared. I mean, I think Franklin Township just has the highest one, but next to Warren Township, holy shit, 8.9%. Pike Township, 11. That's just crazy. Whatever. Fuckers. Yeah, when Black India is your influencer. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, hold on. I think we have to go back to Indy on the map. Yeah, this is where I think that these baddies should be doing better. Is that they could teach math while they're twerking. I mean, look at this right now. They could be teaching basic geometry while that jiggle is happening right now, and they can put like the circles and stuff with the angles and the numbers and stuff while this is happening. This is an opportunity from the Black community to teach these youngins of how to do basic geometry. Oh man, it's so funny. I'm so funny. All right, this is probably gonna be the worst part of the show. I'm sorry, not sorry, but I wanted to listen to what these 4 mayors in Hamilton County are going to be talking about. How are the mayors of Carmel, Westfield, Noblesville, and Fishers dealing with property tax reform while trying to provide the quality of life the residents have come to expect? Those were some of the topics of discussion at last week's Hamilton County Fall Dinner. I'm sure none of you went to the fall dinner, but the audio runs for about 35 minutes. There will be commercials, which I will be skipping through. During that time, I'm going to go through and see what Finkum and that fat slob Chris Jensen is doing of all the things that he's promoting, because we know that they got like a $30 million pool or some shit.
Hi guys, I'm Mario Maslamani. You know, 4 years ago I became Hamilton County Republican chairman, and when I first took over this job, one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we were doing was promoting all the good things that we do here in Hamilton County. Because without wonderful Republican leadership, we wouldn't have been able to become one of the fastest growing counties for the last 20 years. We wouldn't be winning all these awards nationally. And so without the leadership of our 4 mayors and our commissioners, we wouldn't have what we have here today. If you look around this room, you see so much economic growth, development. You see the amenities. When I talk about Hamilton County, one of the things that excites me is you can live, work, and play here. Like, you can basically not have to leave this county and you can just enjoy yourself. The only time I even go down to Marion County is for a Pacers or Colts game. Otherwise, there's no reason. And the reason that...
Have I not been saying this for a long time? I mean, honestly, this should be an argument from every Republican in Marion County. Hamilton County people are building their own thing. They don't have to come down to Marion County. So all those Democrats that are saying is like, oh, you know, well, the people that live in Hamilton County but work in Marion County, they need to pay more. They all, by the way, for those out there that don't understand, there are 2 different tax rates from when you, depending on wherever you work and live. I have to deal with that. I did it when I lived in Indiana but worked in Illinois. That was the biggest son of a bitch.
We've been so successful is because of the 4 people here today, and so I wanted.
But my point was look at all the people that don't have to come to Marion County anymore, or even living here.
Opportunity to kind of highlight them, allow them an opportunity to talk a little bit, and then also give you guys an opportunity to learn a little bit more about them. And so, without further ado, let's get started. You know, one of the questions I wanted to ask each of you is, what got you involved in politics? You know, and Chris, if you wouldn't mind starting, I know a little bit about your story, but if you can tell and share with the crowd, what got you involved in politics? How did you get started?
Yeah, thanks, Marion. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Noblesville. We're glad to have you here. You know, I was raised in this community. I've lived in Noblesville my entire life. I was raised by a single mother who worked 2 jobs to put me through college, and it was after that college experience I got to meet another powerful woman who made a huge difference in my life, and that was our former Lieutenant Governor, Becky Skillman. My first job out of college was literally to carry her purse around to all 92 counties, and I'm really proud of that. And I drove her around in a Tahoe that I always joke was fueled by Aquanet, and I'm also very proud of that, and I would tell her that to her face. But I got to travel to all 92 counties and learn so much about this state, and so much about what makes each community unique. And so what has driven me into politics were people like my mom, people who work 2 jobs to put their kids through college, and people like Becky.
Yeah, can you blame them though?
And who genuinely has a care about every community across the state of Indiana. So I got a front row seat to her and Mitch Daniels and their leadership. I always laugh. I've never seen 2 smaller people be in charge of an entire state in my entire life. But they were wonderful, and they were incredible leaders who were bold and who were visionary, who were not afraid to tell the truth, and who were going to be telling Indiana's story, not just around the state, but around the country. And that really inspired me to run for city council, and then now to be mayor of what I consider Indiana's hometown of Noblesville.
Sue, I remember working a phone bank for you when you were running for Carmel Council.
You're a machine. He's a machine at a phone bank.
Long time.
So I was traveling 8 different states. I was a partner in an ergonomics firm, and I was traveling all around, had a little guy, 18 months at home, and got an opportunity to have a full-time job in Indianapolis. And it was that time where I kind of looked around and said, I'm reading the headlines like the state government isn't paying local governments, it isn't paying schools because there's a shortage of tax dollars. I'm like, who's running the show? And realized there was something called Democrats, right? But it just got, the problems that our cities were facing was of interest to me. And I searched and found the Indiana GOP, did a phone bank, got tickets to see presidential candidate speak in Indianapolis, and just kind of got the bug a little bit and found the Lugar series, and that's such a great program to introduce you to everything associated in politics, whether it be a volunteer.
Great program. Great program.
I know you're sitting right there, friend. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and you and everyone else who started that, like Julie Singleton and Teresa Lubbers and more. So, of course, the amazing Senator Lugar. But
which one?
That training program was so fantastic from a confidence standpoint, from an education standpoint, and relationships. So that's kind of what got me, like, at least my head up and started looking around. And then I moved to Carmel took a job in Carmel, and we worked very closely with the city of Carmel and Mayor Brainer's administration on community outreach activities. And I really got to see what a mayor does in setting the vision for a community. And I was just really impressed with what he was doing, what the whole administration was doing, and eventually an opportunity came up to run. And I didn't think I'd ever do that, but I was really dissatisfied with my representative at that time, and no one was running against him, and no one was running against him because he had police and fire support. And I was like, well, but I don't think he's a good leader. And so I took a chance. I'm like, at least I'm going to make him work really hard. And another guy jumped in, and I won a 3-way race. So that was how I got into city council.
Thanks, Sue. Scott, I mean, we go back about, 15 years? So I met Scott actually at Sandstone Bar. I don't know if it's even around anymore. Yeah, he was dating his wife, Anna. She and I were on a terrible committee together. And Scott was saying, he's like, I'm the deputy town manager. And I was asking myself, how do you become a deputy town manager, and do you get a degree for that? How does that come about? And now he's our mayor.
Yeah, I think I'm probably the most reluctant person up here to be in an elected position, thanks to a couple of council members that drug me into running for office. But the reason I love it, I love the work. Honestly, I just fell in love with the work. You know, the other day, I had a day where we were trying to recruit an international life science company, and in the afternoon, I was trying to help a homeless woman find shelter. And so to have a job where you can come to work and be involved in both kind of the more abstract ideas of policy, but also just roll up your sleeves and help people on a daily basis. To me, I don't know that there is a better job for do-gooders out there in the world. And so I was fortunate through dumb luck and timing to fall into this political role, but it's been the greatest opportunity professionally I could have ever hoped for, and it's rewarding every day.
Thanks, Scott. Scott, so how did you get involved in politics? And again, thank you for your service. You know, if you can talk a little bit about why you, wanted to serve our country and how maybe that kind of correlates with running one of the largest cities in the state of Indiana.
So my grandfather was an elected official in Howard County for 33 years. So I sat on the sideline. We would go to Republican headquarters for elections and watch the votes come in. Most of the time, my grandfather was unopposed. Back then, Kokomo was very much a Democrat city. So to have a Republican that was getting elected in a Democrat city was always, he was like a star for the party. And he probably planted the seeds for me to eventually run. Mayor Andy Cook, the previous mayor, actually reached out to me through some back channels many, many years ago. I was serving in the Marine Corps at the time. I was very active in the community and the non-for-profits and serving on boards. And he pulled me in his office and said, "You need to run for office." And I'm like, no, I don't think so. Being a member of the military, we don't always look very favorably upon politicians. But he planted a seed and it sprouted. And next thing you know, I ran for city council and now here I am. So. But joining the Marine Corps was kind of to me, was an obvious decision. I have Marines in my family all the way to World War I with my great-grandfather. All my family, other than my two grandfathers, were Marines. My grandfather is still missing in action. He's a World War II vet that was shot down over the island of Japan. So I'm very proud of the military service my family has had over the years. When I was at Purdue during my junior year, this thing called Desert Storm happened. And I ran down and signed up. And I'll never forget, my dad called me. It was too late, but he called me. He said, "Don't do anything stupid." I said, "Too late, I already signed up." He said, "Well, did you sign up for the Marines?" I said, "Of course." He goes, "Good, because I wouldn't let you come home if you didn't." And that just put me on the trajectory of where I ended up going in the Marine Corps. And 30 years later, I retire, and here I am.
So I know your tenure's been short so far, but what's been your biggest accomplishment so far, you believe?
You know, one of the things I'm probably most proud of is, Westfield is the 6th fastest growing city in America right now. We're the only city in the top 100 in the Midwest. So what's happening in Westfield has certainly happened in Carmel and Fishers and even in Noblesville to an extent, but it's our turn in Westfield. And I think what might make us a little bit different is we're the only city in Hamilton County that doesn't have a wheel tax. We've actually been lowering our property tax rate. Yes, you're not seeing it. It's not my fault. We're creating great things and your assessed values are going up, but we've been dropping our tax rate despite the growth. Our tax rate is one of the lowest in Indiana.
Doesn't fucking matter.
And we've been able to do this while seeing an incredible amount of growth. And if you haven't sat in the chair that I'm sitting in, you may not appreciate how you keep up with infrastructure and economic development and public safety and all the things that we're trying to do. Yet hold the line, Republican principle, we're not touching the taxes.
Republican in principle. Oh, we're lowering your tax rate. And by the way, you can give that money back to the taxpayer, by the way. Just to let you know, all 4 of those mayors have the power to give that money back.
And I'm very proud of that. There's other things I think we've accomplished, but that's one I'm probably most proud of.
Scott?
Well, I think it's one thing to have a vision. It's quite another thing to execute on it. And I'm proud of the vision we have for the city, but I'm even more proud of the team, our organization, the culture we have internally to our organization that has allowed us to do really hard things well. And I'm also very proud of our community's willingness to try new things. I think Fishers has been known for recently in the last decade a willingness and an optimism about trying something new, adapting to the world around it, and trying to position itself to be successful. And I think those three things, a vision, having a team that can execute on it, and working with your community to embrace a culture that really wants to move their community forward, those three things are, I think, what I would hold true to kind of our accomplishments.
Sue? Well, obviously inherited an incredible community, thanks to Mayor Brainerd's vision and hard work over 28 years. And that community, that built environment, which is award-winning, creates an amazing quality of life. But I've really tried to focus on a piece that I felt we could invest more in, and that's the people infrastructure. So I'm really proud of the work that we've done with youth, our deputy mayor program for city council, opportunities to come in and build confidence, get them exposed to being a part of civic leadership, and then the outreach we've done to our various cultural groups. You and I were both in an article that we talked about Hamilton County, and I'm really proud of that work as well. And I think that's important. It's part of building culture, like Mayor Fadness said, and it's part of also inviting people to the table. So when we have a volunteer opportunity, when we have a committee opportunity, when we have an elected opportunity coming up, that people feel more connected, to their community, and their brand ambassadors going out into the world as well to talk about Carmel's story. And we put a lot of emphasis and a lot of work in that, and I'm really proud of that.
Thanks, Sue. Chris?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think the four of us don't get the luxury of just going on Fox News every day and throwing out some bombs and considering that governing. We have to go to work every day to serve the people that we represent. And I'm really proud of the fact that we have put our head down in Noblesville, and we've been talking about a new east to west corridor. There's a slight traffic issue in Hamilton County, and we've been talking about an east to west corridor in Noblesville for 40 years. And I ran on that platform of getting that job done when I was elected. And I'm proud to say at the end of this year, we will cut the ribbon with our great partners in Hamilton County on a $125 million new east to west corridor to help traffic flow through our community and our county. And that's
nice.
Thank you. And I'll also say, and I give Mayor Fadness a lot of credit, we've leaned in heavily on public safety. Public safety is very different today than it was 20 years ago.
The public safety is going down, in case you guys ever noticed. There's so many illegals out there that do not have a driver's license, and Hamilton County is not doing anything about it.
We're now every day tackling the issue of mental health in our community. We launched a program called Noble Act to identify at-risk individuals in our community before they get into our legal system and before they get into our medical system, to get them the help that they need. Not only is that the right thing to do, I think it's a very Republican thing to do, to give a hand up to those that are suffering. It's also the fiscally sound thing to do. If we can reduce long-term recidivism rates and 911 runs, that's going to help the overall taxpayer in each one of our communities. And I'm proud of the way that our communities have all really embraced that conversation.
You know what they call that? They call that a ransom. If you don't do this, this will happen. Well, tell you what, asshole, I do not negotiate with terrorists. Strip them out.
And, as a former prosecutor and defense attorney, I've noticed over since COVID, the shutdown, there's been some serious mental health issues with people having to be self-isolated in their houses and not having human interaction.
Oh boy, I wonder who were the people that shut it down, huh? That's so weird. I mean, didn't all four of these people were okay with COVID stuff being locked down?
Interaction. And, unfortunately, crime, dealing more with mental health issues, has increased not just in the county, but in basically the state of Indiana and around the country. Talk a little bit more about some of the things that you guys have done to help address that. And I know, Chris, you and the other three mayors have done a lot to focus on mental health issues to try and lower not just crime, but also help some of the families that are in your communities.
I know what really struck for me was in April of 2020, right as COVID was starting, there was a moment in Noblesville that more people had died of suicide than had died of COVID-19.
And Chris Jensen, you're the reason for that.
Benny's shaking her head. She was in our office during that time. That was incredibly eye-opening to me to see the mental health challenges that we are seeing. So we knew right away we were onto something, that we had to lean into that. I'm proud of the fact that we've not only tackled it from our public safety divisions, but we are
Here, I'm going to show you what he was talking about real quick. So I looked it up. So Jensen emphasized the importance of following state and CDC guidelines. And by the way, Jensen's a fat slob. So he issued the executive order, which closed city buildings, except for emergency, suspend door-to-door solicitations, and encourage residents to avoid unnecessary travel. The fat slob is like, oh, we need to worry about health while he is a fat slob. Recognizing the pandemic's impact on mental health, Jensen launched initiatives like Mental Health Mondays, a Facebook live series co-hosted with local therapist Christian Boyce to discuss mental health challenges and coping strategies. He also introduced Noble Act, a proactive paramedicine program aimed at connecting individuals with mental health services before crisis escalate. Or what you could have done was just reopened everything, and then we didn't have to worry about anything, you fat slob. Maybe you should have taken your own advice and stopped being a fat slob. Anyway, let's listen to the fat slob a little bit more.
Now home in Noblesville to 3 of the state's 20 mental health therapy canines. So we have canines that catch bad guys. We also have canines now that come alongside us where there may be a domestic dispute, for example. We may go into a home where there's a veteran who has PTSD and is threatening suicide. And these canines are instantly trained to go alongside those that are having episodes.
As you guys can tell, I have very little patience for these people. I hate them all.
To help calm them and help them process their emotions. So we're thinking outside the box when it comes to this policy. We realize that it has no folks that are dealing with mental health challenges look just like you and me in this room. We are not talking about folks who live on the wrong side of town or whatnot. We are talking with everyday folks that have major challenges in front of them, and we want to get them the help that they need to help them be a meaningful member of our community.
Sue? We also have a crisis intervention unit with our Carmel Police Department and a mobile integrated health unit with our Carmel Fire Department, and they're specially trained, community servants basically that help our community thrive. But we've also tried to attack it a little bit differently in that we started a Mayor's Advisory Commission on seniors and a Mayor's Advisory Commission for veterans and military families. And shout out to Councilor Snyder and Taylor who are chairing those respectively, because I think having those conversations with those specialty groups who are more prone to challenges and depression and loneliness and isolation is really important. And so I think those are seeds we're planting right now that can grow into something beautiful down the road.
Thanks, Sue. Scott? Yeah, I think everyone up here probably has some form of an emergency response to mental health, and I'm proud of the fact that everyone in Hamilton County does that. I think we need to swim further upstream. So you talk about people being isolated. Well, why are they isolated? What can we do to create a community, not just a city? You know, it's one thing to build a city, it's another thing to build a community. And how do we connect people, those people that are living in these cul-de-sacs that are isolated? So we really started to focus on the built environment as well as what are the social opportunities.
Did he just say like cul-de-sacs keep people isolated?
That we can create. A little small thing that I think the community. And how do we connect people, those people that are living in these cul-de-sacs that are isolated?
What? What is this guy talking about? We have some mental health people that live in cul-de-sacs. Listen, they're isolated. Shut the fuck up.
So we really started to focus on the built environment as well as what are the social opportunities that we can create. A little small thing that I think is so interesting. We did away with square tables at our farmers market and put round tables out.
Oh, good God. I mean, this guy, a true leader of getting rid of the square tables.
Silly, but you know what it forces people to do? Look across the table at someone they don't know and have a conversation. And so I think we've got to continue to build this environment where there's social engagement, social interaction, because when we tie people to their community, that is the best insulator from national narratives that sweep us one way or another. That's something we all learned during COVID and George Floyd and everything else is if you don't tend to your own community,
when you bring up George Floyd, like, oh my God, he was such a big difference maker. Never talking about putting a gun to a pregnant woman's belly and robbing her or overdosing on fentanyl. Oh boy, George Floyd, he changed everything. Shut the fuck up. You should automatically drop out.
If you don't make sure you have those relationships, you'll get swept up in a national narrative that you have nothing to do with. And so we're never going to forfeit our relationship with our residents. We have to stay at the forefront of that time and time again. Thanks, Scott. Scott?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of similar things. I think all the mayors up here have a crisis management team that go out in the community and do welfare checks and everything. It's not only for our residents, but also our public safety personnel who face some pretty gruesome stuff on a day-to-day basis. But we're also trying to lean on the private sector as well through our non-for-profits. And so when I became mayor, I created a community foundation for our city. And used to be Mayor Cook would do a yellow tie ball because he was colorblind. He could only see yellow, and he would use that to fund Westfield Youth Assistance. I'm taking that a step further. We created this community foundation. I have a mayor's gala, so if you're here and you're interested in donating money, come see me afterwards. But last year we raised over $600,000 that went back to our non-for-profits, and leaning on them, right? Government can certainly play a role, but the private sector, in my mind, is closer to the problem and better geared to deal with that. And we're trying to lean on them and give them the resources they need to be successful.
So the 5 of us have talked about this issue because it's impacting Hamilton County, but with the changes in the property tax caps, it's been touchy issue. I know Hamilton County has been attacked to some extent regarding this. How are you for handling the changes to the property tax caps, and what are your thoughts on it, Scott?
Yeah, so first off, let me say every single one of us up here on the stage pay property taxes. So like you, I would love to see relief when it comes to property tax. What we got is not that, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I will tell you, I'm pretty sure the other mayors will say the same thing. We're pretty lucky in Hamilton County. There are cities where their budget's going like this. Ours has basically flattened out over the next 3 years. Why is that a problem? Because Westfield's growing at a 23% rate every year. So imagine when your population is doing that, but your budget's doing that. It's creating huge gaps in our tax revenue stream that's going to make it almost impossible for us to keep up long-term with public safety and with infrastructure. Here's a great example. We're building 2 new fire stations. 84 is being built now. Station 85 is coming online in about 3 years. To staff 1 fire station, I need $2.5 million. My budget's this, folks. I've got to cut $2.5 million to staff Station 84 and another $2.5 million to staff Station 85. It makes it incredibly challenging. We'll deal with it. As a Republican, I love the word tax cuts, so I'm not going to sit up here and complain about it, but there are some realities, and I think those of us that live in Hamilton County expect a higher level of service, and it's going to get harder. I bet we'll all figure a way around it, but it's going to get really hard.
Scott?
How else will we do without all these multi-million-dollar fire departments?
Well, first off, I do want to thank our legislative body from Hamilton County, our legislators.
They were huge.
They were amazing. Speaker Houston, Senator Walker, Senator Baldwin, Danny, Elena, the whole team. And I know I'm leaving a few out, but I'm just telling you, these guys rolled up their sleeves, took a bill that would have really, frankly, devastated most of us, and did the hard work of trying to come up with something that was a roadmap for the future. And there will be an adjustment period, and we're going to have to work through it. But I'm confident that these folks up here are professionals, and they're already digging in and trying to figure out where we're going to go, what we're going to try to accomplish with it. And we're going to get there. It's going to be an adjustment period, but I'll tell you, our legislative crew from Hamilton County really did share the insights and experiences of Hamilton County at the State House. And I know that's not an enviable task either, but we do appreciate the work that our legislators put in on it.
And I have to add in there, Senator Buck and Representative Hunter Smith, you guys were amazing as well. I don't want to leave those 2 out.
Oh.
No, and I want to echo that.
Hey, Kif, did you just hear that?
When this bill was coming through this session, I was getting calls from our school systems, from some of our, municipal elected officials saying, this is going to be crippling. And, we are so lucky to have phenomenal legislators here that represent Hamilton County because they took kind of a crappy bill and made it palatable, because again, it would have destroyed our way of life. But Sue, how are you handling this?
Hold on. I gotta back up.
Lucky to have, I was getting calls from our echo this.
Do appreciate the work that our legislators put in on it.
And I have to add in there, Senator Buck and Representative Hunter Smith, you guys were amazing as well. I don't want to leave those two out.
No, and I want to echo this, that, when this bill was coming through this session, I was getting calls from our school systems, from some of our, municipal elected officials saying, this is going to be crippling. And, we are so lucky to have phenomenal legislators here that represent Hamilton County because they took kind of a crappy bill and made it palatable,
So they're saying that SB1 was originally crappy, and after it got redone, it's so much better now. That's crazy. What minute?
Well, because again, it would have destroyed our way of life. But Sue, how are you handling this?
Well, first of all, I think being a mayor that was coming in a transition, we were looking at everything slowly but surely as I identified staff and brought them on. So we've kind of been working this for about a year. And so, we're looking at fleet, we're looking at who does payroll, we're looking at the software we use, we're looking at everything. And so we've been identifying opportunities for a year. So, and it's kind of rolling some of those out already this year. I'm really proud of the team too because the leaders have come in and said, yes, we can do this. Now we're still trying to evaluate the effective, how much we're affected. Cities that have a higher percentage of residences in their assessed value, and we have 81% of our assessed value comes from homesteads, pretty high. And then the communities that have a higher home values are also more greatly affected. So we got to get a double whammy there. We know we'll be a $10 million gap. We think it's going to be more like 12 or 14. We're just trying to refine a couple things and make sure those numbers are legit, and then we can start.
How are you going to handle that? 10 million, 12 million?
You make hard decisions, and that's what we're elected to do, all of us up here. Make hard decisions, have lots of conversation with our community. And
isn't it Masamani that got caught drinking and driving a bunch of times?
Look for efficiencies. So I asked Mayor Fadness if there's any way we can talk about CERTA, which is 26 cities in a county.
30. There's 30.
Explain that to the audience.
Yeah.
Regional effort for Central Indiana to start competing at the level it needs to against Columbus and Nashville and others. We started this a number of years ago. We're now up to 30 cities in Central Indiana all working together to solve problems from crime to economic development. And Sue called me the other day with a great idea. She's like, can we go together and collaborate on procurement, purchasing? I mean, what a great idea coming from Sue as she's trying to drive efficiencies in Carmel. We can work together collectively, things simple as mulch, fire trucks, software, you name it. There's no reason why we can't leverage our buying power together. And that came from Sue, and I think those are the ideas that are going to surface.
That is so fucking dangerous. That should not even be happening, and I don't like it.
And hopefully you can accomplish some of the gap that's going to be there.
I'll just add one more thing. We've got a great relationship, the four of us.
Yeah.
So we share information and can share more information because it doesn't do us any good if one of us is having trouble or economically in our communities.
And Chris, talk a little bit, because you guys actually meet on a regular basis, and you guys make sure that you guys keep each other, you know what you're doing. So
yeah, we do talk quite a bit. We're so fortunate to have the four of us who genuinely like each other and try to share ideas every single day, if not weekly, right? Sharing ideas. I will just say, I'm not too young to forget that in 2009 we took a massive leap forward as a state and reformed our property tax system. Hoosiers put into our state constitution property tax caps in 2009 to reform that system. So I know,
dude, that was part of the whole property tax reform back in 2008, 2000.
it's really cute for the federal government to talk about Doge and my boy Elon. I don't want to knock him at all, but we've been focused on Doge for the better part of the past decade and a half. Every single day we're looking at efficiencies for the system of government that we govern. I can give you example after example in Noblesville of doing more with less.
I can also give you an example of Jensen getting campaign cash and then contracts going to the person that gave him campaign cash.
that we are working with taxpayer dollars to provide a thriving community and a thriving county, and that's done collectively, and it's done by sharing ideas. I also want to be very, very clear. The four of us up here are not fans of taxes. We are small government conservatives, and for some reason, over the past several months, local elected officials have been somewhat demonized in this conversation. And I think it's really inappropriate, quite frankly, that the circling firing squad that we've had within our own party hasn't come to the table to talk with all of us about what we are doing to elevate our communities, because we're working tirelessly every single day to provide a pretty awesome product here in Hamilton County, as seen by the amount of people who are sitting here tonight. So I want to go on record as saying the four of us are very committed to keeping taxes low in our community and in this county.
That's fucking bullshit, and he knows it. Second off, I have a video right here totally disproving everything that he just said. Chris Jensen is a floppy, fat piece of shit. All four of these people are rhinos. They're GDP bros. They could easily give your tax money back, but they don't want to because they want to give tax credits over to billionaires because of economic development. But it's on our backs. People are moving to Hamilton County because it's not like Marion County, and these dipshit mayors are wanting Hamilton County to turn into Marion County.
What, really quickly, tell me something that shocked you by taking this job. You know, what has surprised you, shocked you?
You know, I think for me, I'm always amazed by what the public deems as important versus not important. You know, there's something that you might think is going to be a big deal that's a blip on a radar. And then you might recall, I shouldn't even bring this up, but 4 years ago I changed the city logo, okay? That seems like a decent
oh boy.
What kind of phone call?
Let's not go there, Chris.
You would have thought I killed every kitten in town. I mean, it was...
Why did you change it?
My wife was having a baby, our fourth child, dilating in the OBGYN labor and delivery room, and some lady called to yell at me because I gave up my cell phone. And she's like, do you have him? And I was like, well, my wife's giving birth to our fourth kid. She's like, this will just take a minute. And 20 minutes about the city logo. You know, and so that's always...
Why'd you change the city logo? We already have that problem now in Indiana.
Always surprising to see what is it the public...
Probably because they're a piece of shit.
Pays attention to. I'll also say too that one thing that I've learned so much about is that not only are we trying to govern a community and understand what the public wants, but we're also CEOs of decent sized corporations. Every single day we also have HR issues and hiring issues and business issues and obviously budgeting issues. Those are things that we're learning every single day along the way too. So that's been a learning curve for me. I've never been the CEO of a business. Some people wanted to point that out in the primary, but that's okay. I'm learning, and 6 years in, I'm still here, damn it. All right.
Sue, what shocked you? Or been surprising?
I think I was really surprised at the response I got from little girls as being a mayor. I didn't anticipate that. Shame on me, I guess.
Well, and talk a little bit. You started your own business, right? And it was thriving, and all of a sudden, I hear your announcement that you're running for mayor, and I'm thinking, you just created this baby. It's doing really well. What made you decide to leave it to become mayor?
Yeah, you got two loves right beside you. I like growing things, connecting people, seeing results. And I was doing that in my business in an impactful way in the organ donation transplant marketing world. And so it was meaningful stuff every day. But doing that same thing in your community is amazing. You know, mayor gets to convene people around important issues and promote the heck out of amazing communities and of course run the business. And I just kind of felt like I didn't try to go for it because I knew it'd be the hardest thing I ever tried to do. It seemed like business came really easy, and this was going to be a challenge and be more fulfilling. And if I didn't try it, I would always kick myself, for not giving it a shot. I can always get back to business later, and so this was an opportunity I couldn't resist.
Well, thanks for doing it because you're doing a great job. Scott?
I will say when Chris brings up the logo issue, he was a young rookie mayor and that happened to him, and we decided to prank call him and left a voicemail in a southern accent complaining about the logo, and it was pretty epic, wasn't it, Chris?
Pretty good.
So a lot of good camaraderie there. You know, what surprised me in this role is we get so wrapped up in what we're doing. Moments like this where we have people actually sitting and listening to what we have to say. And, you know, you think whatever's happening at City Hall or in the newspaper is the biggest deal on earth. And then you go out to the soccer field where your son's playing soccer and you talk to the dads and you bring whatever up that you think is the end of the world. And they're like, what are you talking about? You know, whatever we get wrapped up in, I'm just shocked sometimes that the average family is so busy living their lives, and really all they want us to do is to run government competently so that they can continue running their lives. And
100%. That's really what it comes down to.
That's also the most surprising and the most humbling, because you think the world revolves around you, then you go out there and realize it really doesn't.
Scott? So there's a lot of things. I wasn't sure which one to pick, but I'll try to lighten it up just a little bit. You know, I paid attention to politics before I ran, so I wasn't, I understood who served our communities, but quite honestly, if I'd have ran into Mayor Cook at a restaurant, I would not have known. I didn't pay that much attention. And getting my wife on board for me to run was a very heavy lift for a lot of reasons, but a big one was privacy. She was very concerned. She saw where things were going politically. I mean, people hate you now because you have a letter behind your name. They don't know you, they just know they don't like you. And I assured my wife repeatedly that nobody's going to care that I'm mayor and nobody's going to recognize me anyways. Social media, I think, might have changed that game a little bit, and I spent a little bit of money on social media when I was running. The day after the election primary, I was exhausted. I took the day off, and my wife and I went to lunch, and I had to stop by the office to get something, and my office was in Keystone at the Crossing. I said, hey, babe, why don't you meet me at Keystone at the Crossing? We'll grab some lunch. And no sooner did we sit down with our meal, and we're talking, and my wife reiterated, you know, I'm excited for you, but I'm really concerned about our personal life. And that more that come out of her mouth, the young lady came up to the table and said, are you going to be my next mayor? And I said, Westfield? She goes, yeah. I said, yeah. And so we chit-chat for a minute. She left. My wife looked at me and she goes, well, obviously Keystone at the Crossing isn't far enough away for us to get privacy. And I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be fun. And so that was a little bit of an eye-opener for me. I enjoy it. You see me out in town, grab me. I love talking about Westfield and what's going on in our city, but that was a little bit of a surprise.
As you guys can see, you know, these four people on the stage make me look really good, right? When I get to promote what they get to do and what they're doing in this community and in this state, it makes my job really easy. And so I want to thank them. You know, when I became county chairman, all four of them were very supportive, helpful, have been, you know, behind me 100%, even when I play EDM at some of these events. And when I have DJs, you know, I think you guys give me a mulligan, and I appreciate it. And again, thank you for all you do for our community. Thank you for making Hamilton County so amazing. And again, thank you for your support. Please give these guys a round of applause.
Fuck these people. Fuck them all. I hate them. I don't like them at all. All right, well, fuck all these people. All right, so let me first bring up this. He's talking about, oh, well, you know, Mears had a real tough decision, you know. So during talks with SB1, Sue Finkham and Brandon Sacknuts, they brought in their handler, whoever this dipshit is. I forgot what his name is. The guy from AIM. I forgot what his name was, but whatever. So because they don't have independent thoughts and they needed their buddy system to work for both of these people. So questions were asked to Sue Finkham and Brandon Sackballs about, okay, so are you doing enough with the money that you have? So let's just give it a listen.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for being here, Campbell. Thanks for your testimony, too. I guess just a simple question to both of you. What is an acceptable property tax reform? What cuts could you take?
That's a hypothetical, Senator, that I haven't quite looked at yet because this is early in the process. Again, we will be as responsive and as responsible as we can with wherever this ends at the end of the year or end of the session. But clearly it's going to have impacts, broad reach impacts all across the city.
There we go. That was answer number one from Finkham. She does not work with hypotheticals. She has never thought about what would be an appropriate tax rate for the people that give them their money. The same people that make sure that they help out the billionaires and all these corporate donors to make sure they get a tax break, but the people that have to go to work every day and feed their salaries, fuck them. And so this dipshit Brandon Sackballs, one of the biggest cucks in Indiana, who's trying to sound like Gavin Newsom.
I was actually here last week testifying in favor of a couple of property tax reform bills that were targeted relief specifically to the folks who needed the most. And I think that's probably the best
By the way, no one's talking to you.
way to handle this to those folks who've had the most negative impacts from rising AVs on their homesteads. If there could be targeted relief to the folks who need it most, I think that would make the most sense so that those folks get relief without broadly affecting the ability for us to provide essential services.
What does that look like?
So let me ask it a different way. The same voters that elected you overwhelmingly elected Governor Mike Braun that ran on property tax reform.
Nope. So by the way, we wanted to make sure Brandon Sackbun is a Democrat. The people that voted for Brandon did not vote for Mike Braun. Have to make that very, very clear.
Look at those same voters right now and speak to them and tell them what's acceptable.
Senator, those same voters, I think, would agree that to truly back the blue and support law enforcement, we need to find a way that that's financially possible. So as Campbell stated, a targeted reform would be specific maybe to seniors, veterans, those on a fixed income. That would be a conversation we're open to having. Now, you take a local income tax, pass it at the local level, that's a regressive tax and going to turn around and slap those same voters who overwhelmingly supported the governor. And so we got to find a way to say we do want to support that overall vision while also maintaining public safety. And I feel this is a difficult conversation. I really do commend this committee for even allowing us to have this conversation about it, because it's tough to find a silver bullet solution.
So, Mayor, what's the amount?
Shoot, to be honest, Senator, you're going to have to give me a couple of days on that, but we will send you something over.
I wonder what happened. I want to message Chris Garton and find out what happened, because this is what your leaders are doing. They cannot think about the future. They don't think of these questions that somebody's going to ask them because they are puppets for the regime. People like Finkum, people like Sackballs, and this handler right here from AIM. They never think of the future. They never think of like, okay, so these people are probably going to ask me what property tax rate do I think is okay? But because they live in a fucking bubble, because they can't think other than their handlers, they're like, oh boy, you know, I can't give you an option. Yeah, I know, I see that fat slob right there. So yeah, I mean, it was funny listening to it live. But also, remember, this was February 4th right here. And then this right here, this is from the end of March. And they talk about the Terre Haute ranks poorly in overall health metrics, according to Union Health. They're aware of the trend and taking steps to improve public health. So what are they going to do to improve public health? They're going to build a new pool. And so city officials are currently weighing 3 design options for the new pool. Project costs from $3.5 to $4.5 million. But all of a sudden, Sackburn is saying, oh, well, but we're not going to have enough money for the police. Well, what about that $3.5 or $4.5 million? Which was really fun. Instead, the project will be paid for by using a combination of ARPA, which is taxpayer funds, and gaming revenue. Okay, so why doesn't that gaming revenue, why can't you replace that with property taxes then? I'm just saying. And how they, by the way, I don't know if this article mentions it, but there was a Facebook post about it. And they said, it's like, oh, what we're going to do is that we're going to have these cabanas over here and we're going to rent them out so we can try and make the money back. Are you fucking retarded? Like, really? What are you going to do? Rent them at $20 an hour? Eventually, we'll make our money back on the $3.5 to $4.5 million. And by the way, I think we all know it's going to be more like double that. People in Terre Haute are retarded, just like the people in Marion County are retarded. I swear to God, there should be an IQ test to vote. I'm just saying, like a legitimate IQ test or like a common sense test. And by the way, this is AIM. I forgot what the actual accelerated something municipality. I forgot what exactly it is. But look at the people that are on, the officers. Matt Greller, who's the CEO. We also have Matt Gentry, that piece of shit from Lebanon. Tom Dermody from LaPorte, that piece of shit. And look at this Mr. Sweater Vest over here, Chris Jensen, and also where's Sackbun right there. So AIM, who was the handler for these two people, also helping the handler for Stu and Brandon. Fuck them both. So whenever they're talking about like, well, you know, we got to deal with these property taxes and, you know, we're Republican small government, then just give the money back. It's literally that simple. I know you can do it in Marion County. No, actually I didn't. Actually I didn't. I know I'm just seeing that now, but all right. So I want to talk about this real quick too. I know it's getting, but I want to talk about this part. Know how I said, oh, wow, there's connections to donors? Jensen was saying, oh, well, you know, we can talk about economic development shit. And I said, oh, well, you know, I can connect you to your donors into projects that happen too. So let's look at Scott Fadness real quick. I took his 2025 annual and I was just looking through some of his big donations. One of them was, I think I looked up Dick Hall. What was the other one? Gary Pohl. Gary Pohl runs BF&S Civil Engineers. He's the executive vice president. Well, guess who was part of the Nickel Plate Trail? Oh, let's see if I can find it. Oh, crap. 90% of the trail will be built on the corridor of the former Nickel Plate Trail. BF&S Engineering lead designer Doug Valmore, the same people. Oh, and by the way, BF&S Engineering also gave money to that fat slob Chris Jensen. What's the other one? All right, we got that one. We got that one. Hagerman is obviously a big one. They gave a bunch of money to Scott Fadness. I don't think you can do control find on here. This is how Marion County does it too. It's kind of annoying. And if you're running for a state office, you can just easily control find everything. But backing up is kind of a I just saw. I just make it easy for you. There's one that his name is Paul Thrift from Terre Haute. Paul Thrift is from Thompson Thrift. What is Thompson Thrift right now? They break ground on the final phase of a $750 million Fisher District in Metro Indianapolis. They broke ground on the Union. This was May 15th. This was just the other day. I think they gave them like $10,000. Hold on. I want to make sure that I'm right on this. There's Gary Pohl, gave him $2,500 so they can work on the. Oh yeah, we're right there. $10,000 right there. 10000. Okay, so Paul Thrift gave Scott Fadness $10,000. Paul Thrift is part of. He's the CEO of Thompson Thrift. Thompson Thrift broke ground on a $750 million. I don't know, the final phase called the Union at Fisher's District. The final phase of the master plan development in the Indianapolis suburb of Fisher. Hey, what does $10,000 get you? Get you a $750 million contract. That's what it does. These are the things that I do. There's also a guy on there named Troy Woodruff. He is best known was his part in establishing daylight savings time. So if you want to blame anybody, Troy Woodruff, if you have a problem with daylight savings time, I honestly couldn't give two shits about it. But he gave Fadness $2,500. So I was trying to find because it shows engineering in here. And John Nutt too. So these are the people that you have to watch out for, obviously. You got the PACs, you got the corporations, the Muslims, the Indiana Muslim PAC. That would be one I would be very interested in looking, seeing how much they gave money to Finkham and Fadness and Noblesville, because Muslims are getting big popular in Hamilton County right now. You saw what was going on in Texas as well, where they were wanting to make their own Muslim city where they can implement Sharia law. And if you think the cucks in Hamilton County won't allow this to happen, then you're an idiot. Because the GDP bros, whether it's Sue, Scott, Jensen, and who's the other guy? I forgot the other guy. Those four clowns, the four dipshits, if you think that they would not be okay with a Sharia law town in Hamilton County, all they care about is money. because they're like, oh, small government. These are also these Republicans that they are Republicans. They are not conservatives. All right. There is a difference. I couldn't even get stamps from the HRCC. Yeah, I know. Even get fucking stamps. And look, Boys McKinney gave them $5,000 too. Bager, obviously, Genovis, which we've talked about in the past. You got to look at all these development corporations, all these development companies and construction companies like Meyer Najam Construction. What was it? Najam Construction? Meyer Najam Construction. Fishers. And looking at. All right, but also one more thing. So here we go. We got Chris Jensen with Brandon Sackbun right there. And Mayor Sackbun and I owe it to the next generation to tell our stories and show students what a pathway looks like within public service. This was just last month. Who the freak is this guy? Translate? Can you translate? Like it's in. Same thing right here. Congratulations to Beezer Homes on cutting the ribbon at the retreat at Morse. Thank you investing in Noblesville. Who is the retreat? You go into Beezer.com and search. So it starts at the 340s. No regular person will be able to afford these homes, by the way. And a developer planning a resort water park in Hamilton County. This was I think it was in Carmel. Sky Lake Venture Park, and there's the members of the Sheridan Plan Commission. I think this is in Carmel. Hold on, let me make sure. Oh, it's in Sheridan. Westfield moves towards an annexation of the disputed Adams Township plant. Fishers brags about the $1.1 billion in economic development entertainment projects coming to Fishers. This was back in 2022. So one of them was the Andrade Autosport to establish a global headquarters. Following Stenato Group, what they got. So I wanted to see if they got any tax incentives. And of course, the IADC gave them almost $20 million in conditional tax credits if they actually follow through, which we know that they will get the tax credit even if they don't follow through. This has been a history thing with IADC. I think Indiana Capital Chronicle looked into this. If I can do it. I got a microphone in my way. I wonder if there was any tax credit for Stagnato Group. All right, so the IADC offered them almost $3 million in conditional tax credits. The city of Fishers approved a $21 million incentive package, planned $145 million facility, 15-year tax abatement, a $2.4 million commercial property grant, and a $36,000 in impact waivers. An advance payment from Fishers amounting to $2.5 million for. Okay, so the city gave them $2.5 million. Additionally, the company recognized a deferred income of $15.4 million related to a land grant and investment tax credit. So, all right, so who was, while we do this in real time, I want to do this in real time. Okay, now everybody's argument for all these places coming in are, oh, think of all the jobs that they'll bring in. And I always say, well, let's look at the H-1B database. Yes, I am human. Verification. Not the one. Yep. Well, they're an Italian-based company, so I don't even think that they're in. Italian multinational, headquartered in Italy, founded in 1949, first producer of insulin cartridges. Companies, where are they based out of? Hold on. Okay, so before this, though, just mentioning that is stuff global network. California, Pennsylvania, operations and services, stuff on Massachusetts operations. Primary U.S. manufacturing site. So they'd even had a chance to have an H-1B, but it's almost guaranteed you're going to have a bunch of Indians coming over to Hamilton County so they can get cheap labor off of them. So good luck in Fishers. Your Fishers is going to stink like poo-poo. We figured that out. Fishers is fucked. And I think that's it. I was looking up to see of Fishers to see how much fatness makes, well over what it's kind of funny when you look at how much these people are making. Scott Fatness makes well over what Hogset makes. I think Hogset makes less than 100,000. Few more minutes and then we'll call it a night. Where is over it? I did. Oh, there you are. All right, so you guys really want to get blackpilled? Check this out. The highest person that's getting paid by Indianapolis taxpayers is the deputy chief, Timothy Robinson, making $270,000 a year. Hogset, I don't even think is on the first page. Hogset isn't even on the first page of people. This is just 2024, by the way. Is he on the second page? No. Is he maybe on the third page? No. Fourth page? Because I know he makes either just over 100. No. No fucking way. I didn't even know this, by the way. No way. Going to 7? Oh, no. No way. I want to make sure. This is the double dig. We might be, yeah, we're going double digis. Oh no. All right, we gotta look up Hogset. Did I just feel bad for Hogset? Oh, he makes 120. Okay, 120. I thought he was making 99. So he might have been on like what, page 7? Oh, 5. There is page 5. There is page 5 on top, probably like what, towards the bottom, middle. All right, so he's like page 5 fixes the roads on like Hogset. Yeah, well, it's because they don't have DEI departments either. It's crazy how much more people make than Hogset. It's all in IMPD and probably in the IFD as well. Timothy Robinson in the GovSal. Deputy Chief. Oh, the 20. 5,300 people. Crazy. Yeah, they make a lot of money. Okay, whatever. I don't know if it only goes back to 2012 or not. But anyway, yeah. What are you gonna do, huh? Well, that's all I got. more black pilling, more doomer pilling. Hamilton County is run by thieves, just like Boone County and Hendricks County and Marion County. All our elected leaders are a bunch of morons that just want to rape us so they can give all of our money to billionaires so they can go and fuck random hookers and do blow off of their brown eye. Sorry if I'm playing spoiler maker or making everything sad for you, but truth. So don't forget, on Tuesday, I get my debate with Brad. Finally, we're going to be talking about fat people, so that'll be fun. And amongst other things, they don't plow the roads either. That's true. They just got an extra $4 million, though, so that'll be fun to see how they're going to fuck that up. I watched the program on it. They said $4 million, $2 million is going to go to all these pickup trucks that have a plow, and then another $2 million to hire outside contractors or outside people for it. Like, no, I guarantee you, you're going to screw this whole thing up. I'll be interested to see how they goof this whole thing up. I don't expect our new DPW director to do any better than any of the other people. It's not that hard, okay? It's literally not. It's not that hard to tell people what to do. It's unbelievable how bad people are at doing it. And it's really funny when you have all the Hamilton County mayors and they're like, well, you know, it's not my fault your houses are set so much. We're actually lowering the tax rate. Are you, though? Are you? You know, you can give that money back, though. If you think that people are we don't like taxes. Okay, well, you can give that tax money back. But then on the other side, it's like, well, you're paying what you get for. So you're paying a lot of money for your property taxes that you can barely afford. But think of all the things that you're getting. And what exactly am I getting? That's what I want to know. Because all I really care about the roads, public safety, and the trash. Everything else, everybody else can pay for. We should not be giving money to billionaires. But anyway, you guys all know that. All right, I think that's it. It's almost midnight anyway, and I gotta go to the bathroom and get some more